Everybody, welcome to Nightcap for March 11th, 2022. How's it going? We got a special guest tonight. Riding shotgun with me is past and future Spice King, Damn Prophet, which, cheers, buddy. The crown. The crown is so heavy. I'm so glad that you're gonna take a stab at the crown. I mean, we all like to pretend that me and Paul tied and stuff, but we know this coward. He's not really a Spice King. That was a fluke. He was lucky. He's just lucky he didn't have a bag of habaneros. That's all I'm saying. If he had a bag of habaneros and we could have gone habanero to habanero, I feel like I would have been the Spice King.
That would have been so disgusting.
We would have vomited.
Yeah, you guys would have vomited on stream. And that's why I'm so scared to do it the next time, because I know it's not just going to be a chip next time. I know that there's going to be a periphery thing that we're going to have to dive into once the chip isn't enough.
Well, once the Spice King made an announcement the other day, it's like, sorry for not a lot of content, but we got big things coming. So I have a feeling they're about to announce the new chip. So it's gonna be interesting. Trami says, "I'm back. Good to have you back, my friend." Game and Dragons here. He says, "Minecraft Steve." Trami wants us to leave Minecraft Steve out of this. He doesn't deserve the Zoobox Hell Bus. And then we have Roberto here. He says he's waiting. Then he did some weird poop emoji thing. And then Hagbert said, "Steve bought his ticket. Take the ride." And then Roberto said, "Why did you ass wipes turn against me?"
We love you, Roberto. We love you.
We love you. You're just Roberto the coward. That's just how you're known around here. You're Roberto the coward. You write things. You write comments. You delete them. We're not highbrow enough for you, Roberto. So I think you're a coward. That's all it is, and that's just the end of it.
Debate me, bro. Debate me about climate change, bro.
That's the last I'm going to talk about it tonight. All right, so tonight we're going to do something a little different than we've done in the past. We're just going to have some fun and hang out. We're going to be watching through the Backrooms. We're going to be watching through Kane Pixel's the Backrooms, which is kind of this new augmented reality series that's out there. Now, the Backrooms as a concept has been around for a while. I think going back to like 2019, maybe.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that came from a message board, like something weird or something awful, I think, or a 4chan message board, maybe. Same place like Slender Man came from. A lot of other things like that people kind of did in similar fashion to Kane Pixels, where they took the seed of it from there, and then they kind of just went forward with it. Like they did their own thing with it. The point of comparison I have is Marble Hornets, which was like the most popular of the Slender Man series. That was it was like a YouTube series that these high school and then college kids spent like 4 years doing, which was kind of the premier creepypasta thing for a while. But I think this might take the crown. Now, I haven't watched too much of it. Dan is here as kind of my spirit guide, because I actually haven't watched very much of it. So
yeah,
any of it.
I'm the naked Indian leading you through the desert in Wayne's World 2. I got into this a few months ago because, as usual, same way I got into Durian Rider, I'm always on a content chase. I'm always chasing new content. I work a lot. I always want something in my earbud. And this one struck me because just the little thumbnail for the Kane Pixel thing was really creepy. Like the little weird scribbly man in the yellow room. I was like, what? It just catches your eye. Like, what the fuck is that? And so I, like the plebe that I am, sorry 4chan or Reddit or wherever the fuck this came from, I got into it through the Kane Pixels thing back in November when it was either October or November when the big one came out.
Yeah, it actually was the first one. It was the one that was like found footage.
Yeah, the found footage one.
Which we're not watching it. We're not watching it in release order. We're watching it in, I think, chronological order, and then we have some other things mixed in there. Some explainers that we're going to break it up.
Is what I found with the Backrooms beyond the Kane Pixels thing is that there's this huge. There are like 3 wikis that are just Backrooms lore. And so much of it is so silly and cheesy and convoluted and very clearly like Zoomer kids creeping each other out with like horror video game shit.
Yeah.
And what Kane Pixels did was synthesize it into something that was like very succinct and in this package that you can very easily digest. And so the original Backrooms people are like kind of they ticked at
they take issue. Yeah.
At Kane Pixels for sort of making his own reality out of it. And what's cool now is that Kane Pixels, if you go on and Google Backrooms now or look through YouTube's Backrooms, there's 1 million people imitating Kane Pixels right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, any kid that's got what is it, that Blender Adobe thing is making backroom stuff. And so, you know, I'm not going to bring any of that. I didn't put any of that into the dossier, I don't think.
Okay.
But after Kane Pixels, now we have this whole new genre on YouTube of just like, quite frankly, if you watch them, you can see what makes Kane Pixels good, because these imitators basically either do exactly what he did or do like a lesser version of it. But everybody, you know, it's easy to get obsessed with this kind of lore because it speaks to this existential horror inside every modern human. You know, we could each be the last man on earth or the last woman on earth standing in a liminal space. Like, what if the whole world becomes a liminal space?
Well, that's becoming a real topic of conversation amongst, you know, big brain people, is liminal spaces. This idea of like, we have such finite resources, we have finite space on the planet. There's only a matter of time before those things run out if we keep with our exponential growth and expansion. So people are starting to more seriously, quote unquote, talk about like these kind of, I guess for lack of a better way to put it, what, like parallel alternate dimension string theory type shit. I mean, that's
Right.
kind of what's like been the stuff lately. Just to catch up with the chat, Roberto's having a good laugh. He says, I like you both. I like your content. Well, we like you too, Roberto. We just like giving you shit. Trami, what's up? Hey. Hagbard says he kind of said what you had said. This is all done in Blender. What is Blender? I don't even know what the fuck Blender is.
I don't know. It's an app that you do 3D animation. That's the thing with the Kane Pixels thing, is that I didn't realize it was 3D animation at first, and I thought that he had built all these sets. And it was so creepy to me because the Backrooms imagery in the first Kane Pixels movie is so similar to what the world inside my dreams would be like when I was a child, and I used to have extremely vivid dreams.
Yeah.
Where I would be in spaces that were familiar and big, like either the church hallway or the hallway at school or the cafeteria at school. And like the hallways jutting into that hallway would be dark and have like the lights off, and there'd be like nobody there. It'd be just me in the building, extremely quiet. All you hear is the hum of the electric lights. And so I felt like when I watched the Backrooms, I had already been in this space in my own dreams. And so it really creeped me out. And so like, as you mentioned, we're going to watch it in a little unorthodox order tonight. I kind of put it in a way where the story gets told a little more coherently, so we can go along with the story a little more. It's maybe a little less spooky to watch it in this order.
Which is fine, yeah. But it'll be interesting because I'm sure a lot of people out there have watched this stuff. I'm probably the only one who hasn't watched it at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then there's also going to be some stuff from a guy named, I think, Brugli, which was unfortunately all recorded at Christmas. So we're going to be hearing some Christmas music in the background while we do it. But he goes into the original Backrooms lore and the different levels and where it breaks off. And then we'll talk about like all the different hundreds of levels that there are.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring it back into the Kane Pixels thing at the end. And Kane Pixels just released a new one today, so maybe our nightcap can be watching the new one, which is not that great. It seems like an in between episode, but we can throw it in there. It's like a minute and 30 seconds long.
All right, cool. Brissinger says in Mendham.
Yeah, I want them.
And Trami says to Brissinger, you have to do it three times in front of a mirror to make him appear. What's up, Brissinger? Brissinger says Blender, is that like Grinder? It could be. Blender is a 3D animation modeling software. It's free and really very good. Cool. Hagbard also gave an explanation. It's an animation rendering software. He's doing it well, and he's a friggin' kid. Yeah, I think didn't you tell me he's like 16 or something like that?
That seems to be the word. Is that he's like still a high school kid. Still a high school kid.
God damn these kids, man! I'm telling you,
doing what we wish we could have done in high school. Yes,
actually, yes. If we had all these kind of resources and we knew about like creepypasta and stuff in the 90s, if we had like that was a thing, Jesus Christ. Game of Dragon says, did you find about the Backrooms from Solar Sands Liminal Spaces video? No, I don't think so.
The Kane Pixels.
How are we doing?
The Kane Pixels thing was just recommended to me in my YouTube recommendations. I click on enough random stuff on YouTube that all kinds of shit gets recommended to me.
It was trending. It became huge. Like, it became a thing where I got recommended it too. And I think you had sent it to me, and I started watching it, and I was like, and then I thought like, oh, I'll do this on Nightcap. So I kind of like put it to the side, and now here we are.
Yeah.
All right. So the first we're going to watch is Backrooms, the third test, and that's we're going to get started. It's only a minute and 46 minutes or 46 seconds rather. So we'll just get into it.
On July 2nd, 1988, the ASID research facility tested its low-proximity magnetic distortion system for the third time. Details regarding the results of the experimentation have not yet been released. During a press conference held in April of 1988, Ivan Beck, vice director of the ASID Foundation, described the intention of these tests, stating this program is granted.
Now, if you look at something like this, like these little things, we think this is like a set. Is this a set? I mean, it looks like just like a warehouse.
I don't know. I mean,
What's real, Dan?
I don't know. It must be a combination of like found footage, 3D animation. The kid's good. The kid's good. The kid's got talent.
This kid's got, you know what? We got to get him in contact with Jack Horner. You know, this kid's going to be a star. Okay.
We got to get him in contact with anybody other than Jack.
Other than Jack Horner. How do you feel about your parents, Kane Pixels?
That's a real creepy movie, kid. You want to show me your cock?
I really like what you did with that blender. Tarami says liminal spaces seems like an extension of the SCP trend, which in turn spawned from the Slender Man craze, which originated as creepypasta. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like a lot of this stuff springs from that well. This is the newest incarnation. Like, 2014, 2015, it was Slender Man. Everybody was doing these kind of videos, but for Slender Man. And obviously the tech and the quality of filmmaking and the filmmaking acuity has gotten a lot better, because in that 5 or 6 year period, I mean, what's been available to kids these days, holy shit. I mean, they're doing stuff that would have been in a movie in the 80s and 90s.
Sufficient backing from the United States government will offer a solution to all current and future storage and residential needs and save billions of dollars on property construction and management.
Get like John Carpenter vibes. Well,
so I think what makes it so convincing is that
rad.
He uses the VHS effect.
Yes.
So you can probably have like really, I wouldn't say shoddy, but like not convincing 3D animation, and then once you put all those filters,
you put the filters on it, it totally, totally, it makes it work. Yeah, you can sell it. All the blurring and the filtering and all that stuff.
I'm gonna send one more to the dossier, by the way.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'm guiding you. I'm your Sherpa.
Yeah, just let me know when in the rotation it's supposed to be played.
Yep.
Because I added one that you didn't have. That was it's in the description of this video. The Backrooms found footage. There's like an unlisted video that you actually have to go to the description and click it.
I was too grug to find that. I've been looking for that, Shaun. You're gonna Sherpa me.
Oh shit! I've become the master already. All right, let's check. Well, let's get it started. There's a lot of downtime, so we can just talk while it's playing. Oh wait, Toronto
this is
says,
the one.
This is the one that blew up. That everybody was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy." Toronto says also, Shaun, I can make you a Zoobox logo without the white background for the Teespring. Email me the highest res you got. Okay, deal.
That might also be good for these. Like if the Zoobox had a black background, it'd look more like theater style.
That's true. Actually, you're right.
I'm not fucking actually. Hell.
I could do that too. I could do that. I should just do it.
Sound, camera,
rolling.
All right, and action.
This is also another like a theme or a trend with a lot of these these creepy pasta augmented reality like YouTube stuff is that it's always kids that are filmmakers. They're all filmmakers. They're all they catch things through their while they're making films. It's just something I noticed when I was thinking about this, because I've seen other creepy pasta YouTube things, and they're always filmmakers. They're always YouTubers. They're always content creators. So it was funny that it's also the case in this.
All right, cut. That was good. That was good, guys. All right, that was good. I'm thinking we get a wide angle, and then we're done.
There he is.
Yeah, cool. Like how much further? Like
Is that really him? I don't know if it's actually him.
Yeah.
It's either him or he got his most attractive friend to do it.
Samuel, you're the most beautiful. Will you please come on? Please be in front of the camera for the close up.
One human that gets a close up, you gotta get your pretty boyfriend in there. Kane Parsons. He doxed himself.
Hello?
So I
Hello?
thought this was a set, which is
It looked-
creepy.
Hey,
It's
guys.
creepy as fuck.
Well, because you're right. It was very convincing.
What is this?
I used to have dreams like this.
Gaming Dragon says, "I thought liminal spaces was an art term for an empty, uninhabited space." Yeah, I believe that's where it comes from, where it's derived from.
Hello?
Yeah, I
Someone there?
I saw a little part of this, but it really does. It really brings you into that mindset of having one of those impossible dreams when you're in a place that has like an impossible architecture or structure. It's like familiar but foreign at the same time.
That's
You
what a
can't
liminal
find your way
space
through
is.
it. Yeah,
That's what a liminal space is. And look, he sees a door, but it's like all the way down this hallway he can't get to.
motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like a bad dream. It's like every horrible escape dream you've ever had.
Yeah.
And the carpet is moist. That's the one thing that
That's the key element that really like is unsettling. Like if you were just like to be transported to this place and the carpet was fucking moist, that would be like the most off-putting shit. Oh, he's about to just go into the set of Cube.
yeah, this I would never do because I saw the movie Cube. I'd be like, you know what? I think I'm good where I am. I'll starve to death over here.
Yeah.
You come get me. I'm not going up that ladder. Oh, I'll go to the place that's slightly more green and menacing looking.
Like even just watching it together and talking is like giving me anxiety a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know if it would be less creepy watching
anybody
it
hear
live
me?
with a bunch of people, but it's not. This is so fucking
Hello?
creepy. There's a reason why it's so popular, because this speaks to your primal fears.
Yeah.
I'd rather be eating a hot chip right now, to be perfectly honest.
What if you had to watch this and do the Packy One Chip Challenge 2022?
I think my
Backrooms style.
adrenaline would make my brain explode.
Like this is all done in a 3D rendering software?
Yes.
That's fucking crazy.
Wait till you see what he does in the
I'm
in the
such an
next
old
ones.
man. I'm such a
I know.
boomer. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, we think it's still Toy Story. Toy Story was 35 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know.
it's at this point I begin to get ready for combat. Like, I'm ready now. I'm ready to kill everything that comes up behind me.
Oh.
I'd attack that. I'd fucking attack that thing straight up, dude. Get it before it gets you, because it's the sound that it's making is so
It's awful.
terrifying.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is scream back at it and charge.
Yeah, because it's like a dominance thing. It's like, that's what's happening right now. It's like a warning. You got to warn it back.
And then, this is my liminal space. Fuck you. Oh, I hate this part. God, I hate this part. Bye-bye. Bye.
Holy shit. Wow, dude, like I'm seriously, even doing it this way, that was very intense. Trami says you'll hardly be shocked that there's been about 1 billion indie horror games that rip off this video. Oh, I'm sure. People were making Backrooms video game stuff a couple years ago too, so I'm sure it's even more crazy now.
Can you give it a pause here?
Yeah.
This apparently is based off of an actual, like, so much of these quote unquote levels are based off of actual pictures of liminal spaces that people have posted.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think that this staircase with the fridge off to the right is an actual picture of a place. And here's where people from the Brugly and the wikis start to get pissed, because that is not how you exit that level of the back rooms. So we have moved into the point where there are different levels to the back rooms.
Yes.
And he's about to go through a few of them before he goes back to level, quote unquote, level 0.
Yeah.
Which also, there are no entities in level 0, so that stick figure that was just chasing him was actually not scary because it doesn't exist. Okay.
Don't you get it, man? Don't you fucking get it?
And that's what I don't like. I get, and the Brugly guy will bring it up in one of the videos. It is kind of pissing on the original lore to do it this way, but this is also how movies get made. You're telling a story. You're telling a narrative. You don't have 80 hours to read a fucking wiki about 800 different levels.
And it's also just, that's the nature of these things, these community-driven kind of stories and art projects. That everybody is contributing in a different way and augmenting them in different ways and adding and subtracting. And I'm sure there's things in here that he will do or has done that nobody else had done yet. He's adding to it. He's putting his own stamp on it.
He's making it good.
Yeah.
I hate to say it to Reddit, but he's actually making it digestible.
Or it's like, this is like it reminds me of like John Carpenter. It reminds me of like something John Carpenter would do. Not like necessarily specifically, but just the vibe, the tone, the concept reminds me. There's a John Carpenter movie called Prince of Darkness. It's just like this very odd movie about the devil. Yeah, it's very effective.
So now we're about to move through some various levels of the back rooms. I would go in that fridge to see if there was supplies. This dude's an amateur. Have you ever played Fallout?
Gotta see if there's a can in there.
Well, here's the thing. With some of these backrooms levels, there are literally like groups of people who are stranded there and who have formed like tribes. And they like, there's all this weird like supplies, like there's almond water and shit that you can. It's very much like a video game, and it starts to get very stupid very quick.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Coming up right here, this space right here is an actual hotel, and people have posted from the balcony of this hotel down to this courtyard.
Yeah,
but it's a level of the back rooms. I mean, that's cool. That's cool.
I like that. I like the bridging of like these kind of weird things in our actual reality. It makes it tangible too.
Like this right here was, when I still thought that this was filmed in an actual space, I thought that, I was like, oh, maybe this is in like a modern art museum.
Yeah.
Because that's what this space gives off. But these spaces are too huge. Like, just watch this. This is where I'd shit myself and be like, okay, just leave me to starve.
I'm dead. Oh, wow. That's so cool. That's a great idea. What he just did.
This isn't real.
Because that beautiful setup of seeing that hotel space,
Yes.
right? The reference, and then he goes in there and he kind of like ratchets it up a little bit and adds like this other fucked up element to it. That's awesome.
This kid's got talent, man.
He does. That was a beautiful subliminal like foreshadowing.
Yes.
And then he hits you with like the real thing, like
Yeah.
like the Backrooms version of it. That's really cool.
Yep.
And this part I love so much. This is the dreamscape. This is when you know that you're never getting out. He's supposed to go to level 7 right now, though.
I wish it was just all Counter-Strike noises.
You gotta be kidding me.
God, Shaun, if I get trapped down there, I hope I get trapped down there with you. I hope we're there together.
Me too. Yeah, we
Like,
can die together.
Yeah, we can make commentary on shit while we die. Well, the thing is that like time actually doesn't exist down here, so you don't actually die of starvation or anything.
That's true. It'd just be until you're hunted down, I guess.
And well, some of these entities will turn you into them, so you become them.
Ah, that makes sense. I get that. Jesus. No.
So many of my dreams as a child.
My dreams as an adult. It's like so perfectly modulated for this generation too.
Yes, yeah.
This
Oh,
familiarity with video games and like the way this. Oh my god! Holy shit! Annihilated.
Now, if you notice, before the camera drops, you see his body get like swept up in the creature's arms. Like he doesn't drop with the camera. The camera drops on its own.
Are you serious? Let's go back a second there. That's fucking amazing.
Isn't that great? This is one of the best horror short films that's ever been made.
Jeremobi says Kane's animating here is uncanny, but it's no Lawnmower Man as far as the eye can see.
He's right.
Brissinger said he's dead.
He dead.
He's now the beast.
You a beast now.
All right. Well, before we go on, I just want to see that moment again. That was really good. Holy shit, dude. Whoa. I knew it was coming. I was looking for it, and it still got me. I still felt that little like,
I'm so glad.
rush.
I'm so glad you feel it.
Yeah, dude, how can you not? Like and part of it's the soundscape. Like the soundscape
Yeah,
is fucking good.
The sound design of shit is always underrated. And the sounds that the creatures make in this movie, that little purr or chirp that the creature did when it sounds like my cat. Like when she's hunting something, she makes
It's probably some familiar sounds like the Foley work. I'm sure there's probably a lot of stuff that he bought off like to utilize for a video. Jeremobi says, shit, that got me even knowing it's coming. I know. It's impressive, dude. It's fucking impressive.
Kane Pixels, everybody's out there sucking your dick right now, but you deserve it. You're doing some great work.
He really does, though. I mean, this is wow. I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
what am I doing with my life?
You feel like a piece of shit, but you also want more.
Okay, so this is the video that was in the description.
Okay, this is new for me.
Of the last video.
I need you to hold my hand.
Because I think, a few of these, and it's pretty common with games like this, they'll have because it is kind of a game, it's a hunt, a community thing for everybody to try to find all the clues and piece everything together. And oftentimes people they'll bury it in like the comments, or they'll bury it in the description, or leave it in weird places on Reddit or whatever. So this is pretty cool. Although it seems like Kane wants you to understand it. He wants you to appreciate it for what he's done, because he created his own playlist that is in chronological order, not release order. So even he's just like, no, I want you to know. I want you to figure it out, kind of. He's like, I know what I'm doing is pretty cool. Watch the movie version. What do you mean? What do you mean? Some dark web shit.
Love a good tar file.
Was that a map? That's a map.
Oh God, I hope I never get lost down here.
Imagine just trying. You know what I thought of immediately, and it's definitely just because I'm just like I'm such a fucking wishy-washy like dad. I was like, imagine if I got stuck down there with like my 4-year-old kid.
Well, there's a really sad part in one of these videos where you see that one of the people who's gone missing is a 2-year-old, which is the age of my son, which crushed my soul.
Yes. Because you got to add some stakes here, Kane. Okay, you got to add. You got to add a child endangerment to this. You really want to get under people's skin? Like, throw like a dad that like they're at the park. He's filming stuff, and then they no clip into the liminal space.
I'd kill every creature down there. Theo and I would become the fucking lords of that liminal space. We'd be feasting on the souls of those black creatures. What's that?
It's the wet room. That's why it's so wet.
Well, what you'll find is the substance that is making the carpets wet is not water. It's some like unknown substance that you shouldn't drink.
Yeah, it's like existential coom.
Basically, yeah.
Coom juice.
You know, I have seen this. I've seen this couched in some other thing.
Probably in like an explainer video or something.
Yeah.
Well, you see here, this is my fucking didgeridoo. And you press this.
I think that's Ted Kaczynski. That's Ted Kaczynski.
I'm sorry, my brain took a second because the music to catch up to what you said. Is that my good friend Ted Kaczynski? Brissinger says steaks. Oh, Brissinger's also doing the Durian Rider protocol. I bet you're missing him, buddy. Jiramobi says, so when Ethan is in heavy rain was busy shouting, Jason, around a mall, this is where he was. I think so. I love shit like this. I really do. This shit's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so happy this is happening, and I'm so happy people are getting behind it.
Yeah. This fucking cornflake eating motherfucker.
Oh, I might make myself a bowl of cornflakes with a bunch of sugar, about 300 grams of sugar, mate.
It's just swapping caffeine for pure unadulterated sugar. Null zone 4. What's that say? Due to the see, you can't really read it. Due to the electrician. Hold on. I gotta scrub it back so I can do the electronic discrepancy between panels. Something caved, creamed. I told you. Existential coon.
Yeah.
This is where they milk you.
It's like the Sam Hyde Good Earth Government League milking machines. Every human lactates now, so we have to milk everyone constantly.
Yeah. Woo. God damn. Good shit.
I'm gonna see if I can't send you the new one.
Do you want me to say? I have it. I think you sent it. Well, let me see.
What's the next one on the list here?
The next one on the list is the Backrooms Explained.
Okay, before we do the Backrooms Explained, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to shoot you the brand new one, which will be a cool one to watch right now.
Okay.
Because it doesn't give away too much. I'm shooting it to you in that place right now.
in our liminal space.
Yes.
We got liminal spaces too, guys. It's called.
This is the brand new one that dropped today as I was driving home, and I watched it when I got home. It's not that great, but it's a good one. It's a good one to watch here in this space.
Okay. Motion detected. There we go. All right, let's do it. Brissinger says catacombs. Excellent. See what I originally thought. I thought that this was like he had partial sets and then he did CGI extensions. Like that's what I had assumed. And
Yeah,
and he was just swapping things around and you couldn't see where the cuts were. But I mean, now that you kind of know what you're looking at, you can kind of see that
yeah,
it's like a virtual recreation, but it's still. I mean that
very
I think that filter is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but it still is pretty effective. 7 modified video cameras are optimally positioned along lateral division A. Each camera has been modified to send out something.
an alert to a loud sound or something moving. It's proximity cameras. Also, very video game kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Like, I would never know this was an animation. The filter is too good.
The only thing that like gives it away is actually like the camera gave it away, not the stand, but the camera would
Right,
give
the
it away a
camera.
little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
And then when you start looking at the
the case.
practical material objects, that's where they stick out just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we're all familiar with the textures of those things in a more like kind of concrete way, so it's just your eye catches it, easier.
Right.
It's just Durian Rider down there.
He's that's why it's yellow. It's all those bananas.
Yeah, just taking a squirt of sugar water.
I can survive down here forever, mate. I can bike around this whole rooms. Oh, you're telling me there's infinite rooms for me to bike around? That's great.
Oh yeah, movement. I call it movement. It's not exercise. It's movement. You know what would be hilarious though? If Diane got trapped down there and all the monsters were just so annoyed they just left her alone. So she just naturally becomes one of the creatures down there.
Yes. She's already one of the creatures down there.
Yeah.
She starts making videos down there. Can you believe this note that this other person left for me? How presumptuous that I would want to actually survive.
I know something's coming. I'm just waiting. It's like this whole thing's like that moment in the M. Night Shyamalan Signs when the alien walks across the screen when they're watching like the birthday footage. It's like that feeling over and over and over again. Ugh. Enhance. It really puts you off, man. It really does. I know I've said it like 100 times, but I'm surprised in this format that I'm still being like, I'm actually affected by it, creeping me out.
I love it.
Brissinger says, this is MEZ. And then Jeremiah says, Vamonos, children. People who actually do this. Damn. Fucking people. Okay, so the next one we got is the Backrooms Explained. Should we just jump into it?
Yeah, now this video is the first one that I watched after the found footage video because I wanted to know what the fuck the Backrooms was.
And this came out in October 19th, 2020. So this predates all this stuff.
And this is a great video because it's another video, like it's super silly and it has like silly animations, but its inherent description of the Backrooms is incredibly creepy. And so this is what hooked me into the Backrooms. I was like, if this shit can be creepy with a little like PowerPoint presentation about what, then I need to know more. And that's when I ended up getting into the lore, and then we'll get into the Brugly videos. But this was the video that actually sold me on the Backrooms. After I saw the found footage video, because I was like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I looking at? What's behind this? When I saw this video, I was like, okay, now I need to look a lot deeper.
It's an ordinary Tuesday afternoon at an ordinary office building. Grace, an intern, gets on the elevator in the garage. She's bound for the CEO's office on the 10th floor. Just as the doors close, Rob, a junior sales agent, hops in. Previously, Grace had been a victim of one of Rob's little pranks, pressing all the buttons right before he gets off on the first floor. This made the elevator stop on every floor and caused Grace to be lectured for returning from break a few minutes late. Today, she's ready. First floor, the elevator doors open. Rob steps out and turns back to run his hand down the button panel. In a move worthy of a ninja, Grace maneuvers around him and lightly shoves his shoulder. Surprised, Rob stumbles back into the elevator. Grace tosses him a smug grin as the doors close.
Too much backstory.
She has to wait for another elevator, but it's worth it.
What's that?
So this is too much backstory for this, but like it spends way too much time in this elevator. But we'll give it a go.
Annoyed, Rob repeatedly mashes the door open button, and the lights in the elevator flicker.
Well, I'm assuming it's recapping like some of the stories, like the original stories, like of the Backrooms. This would have been something, because if you're writing like a short horror story,
right,
and you have like the long build up to whatever happens to Rob, Rob's gonna get it. Okay, he's gonna get his comeuppance.
It pauses for almost an imperceptible second before it continues to rise. Rob doesn't know it yet, but he's just no-clipped out of reality. The elevator beeps for the second floor. The doors open. Rob leaps out. He looks around in sudden confusion. On either side of him are long hallways. In front of him is a large empty office space. He can't remember what color the walls in his office are, but he's sure that they weren't a dingy sunshine yellow. He turns around to go back into the elevator, but the wall behind him is solid. No elevator. Disbelieving, Rob feels the wall. It's cold, almost damp, but smooth with no cracks. Rob doesn't know how they did it, but he's sure it's a joke. He turns back to the empty office and walks forward. "You got me, guys," he says, fully expecting a bunch of coworkers to pop out with their cell phones, recording their amazing prank. His voice echoes slightly in the vastness of the empty space. There's no answer.
Hagbard says Rob deserves to be lunch for the beast because he was a patriarchal bastard. This guy does not respect women, okay?
The room is still, except for the loud hum of the fluorescent lights. It smells quite unpleasantly of old paper, stale coffee, and mildew. The annoying buzz from the lights is making Rob's head throb. If it keeps up, he'll have a migraine. He takes out his cell phone. His fingers are slippery with perspiration as he texts. The message icon just spins. It can't send his message. Rob tries calling, but the line is dead. His phone doesn't have any bars. He walks all over the office space, holding his phone up, trying to see if he can get better reception. Squish. His expensive leather loafer sinks into the soggy tan carpet in the right corner of the room. In fact, a patch of carpet so wet, tiny toadstools are sprouting. A sudden odd grunting, growling noise makes Rob spin around. A chill skitters down his spine. Across the room is something. It looks like a human crawling on its hands and feet, but the elbow and knee joints are bent the other way. Its face is surrounded by shaggy, matted dark hair. The creature tilts its head up and sniffs the air before making a grunting growl again. At first, Rob is frozen, but he gets a hold of himself.
It's the Blair Witch.
Hugging the wall at his back, he begins to sidestep toward the entrance in the next room. The creature hangs back. It seems to be intimidated by the eye contact. Its cold black eyes stare back at Rob. It has a weird, aggressive smile on its face, but it's not coming closer. Rob's almost to the entrance when disaster strikes.
Rob's like, bitch, get in this elevator. I'm going to fuck with you. This is what I do.
Don't put you in the wrong. I'm going to make you late for lunch.
Mildew smell wafting from the carpet makes him sneeze. He breaks eye contact. The creature growls and charges toward him. It is a strange, quick gait. Rob turns and runs. The next room is the same, overly cheerful yet dingy yellow walls, moist tan carpet, and buzzy, glaring fluorescent lights. Rob dashes across the room. The creature's gaining on him. The room ends in a T-shaped hallway. Rob zags right. He slips, barely managing to stay on his feet. His loafers weren't made for running on moist carpet. Rob runs down the hallway, passing several rooms. They're all
They
the
were not
same,
designed
yellow
for
and
this.
tan. There's a loud growl behind him. Rob looks back. The creature has been joined by a second beast. They're gaining on Rob. They can't be more than 20 feet away. Their toothy grins are terrifying. Up ahead, the hallway dead ends. Rob barely has time to turn around before they attack. He kicks one in the face. Its head snaps back and it whimpers. The other creature claws at Rob's chest. He pushes it away and kicks it too. The creature gloms onto his shoe, sinking its teeth into the leather and yanking it free. It chews on its prize while the other creature growls at Rob menacingly. But it doesn't come any closer as Rob stares at it. Without breaking eye contact, Rob reaches down, takes off his other shoe, and tosses it. The creature springs after it. Rob manages to sidle past the first creature who's engrossed in ripping apart Rob's hand-stitched loafer. He ducks into a room. Once out of the sight of the creatures, he runs on socked feet through the room, and then another and another. Several rooms later, Rob collapses in a heap on the floor. His heart's galloping a mile a minute. What were those things? Where is he? The room he's in is the same as all the others except for one difference. In a corner is a 5-drawer file cabinet. Once Rob catches his breath, he wanders over and tries opening each of the drawers. Sadly, they're all locked. Rob walks into another room. He feels gross. He has wet patches on his slacks.
Feels disgusting. Hagbert says, what kind of footwear is appropriate for moist carpet sprinting?
Cleats.
Cleats or Crocs. You know, people have laughed about Crocs for a long time, you know? And, well, they were just getting you ready for the Backrooms. Who's laughing now?
So always be wearing cleats at all times in case you no clip.
In case you get no clip, yeah.
From where he sat down, his socks are clammy. His cell phone is missing. He lost it while escaping the creatures. He doesn't know what to do, so he keeps walking. He goes into the next room, and the next. It's a veritable maze of yellow offices with tan carpets. Suddenly, he hears something. The sound is faint, but somehow familiar. Rob strains to hear, but the sound stops. He walks in the direction he thinks the sound's coming from. 2 rooms later, he hears it again. It's a telephone. It's ringing. The ringing is echoing. The ringing phone means communication. It means other people. Perhaps it even means a way out of here, wherever this place is. But first, Rob has to find the phone. Rob takes off his socks. He'd rather walk barefoot on the gross carpet. Moist socks freak him out. He also takes off his belt. He wants to be prepared in case those horrible creatures show up again. The next room, of course, is the same as all the others, but it has a lone desk.
See, imagine that, though, like this walking around on this moist carpet. At some point, like your feet are going to get all pruny. It's going to start hurting at some point. It's going to be very uncomfortable. If anybody that grew up in New England knows, like, you know, when your socks get wet in your boots, when you're out in the wintertime, fucking not good. Not cool, man. Bristinger says, going for the feet. Classic. Jeremy Bobby says, moist socks, the real horror.
The desk drawers are not locked. One has paper clips, several ballpoint pens, and a highlighter. Rob tries writing on the wall, but the chartreuse highlighter can't be seen against the yellow. The other drawer is empty except for a crumpled half-full bag of stale tortilla chips. Rob suddenly realizes that he's not hungry or tired. In fact, he's lost all sense of time. He looks at his watch. It stopped. How long ago, it's hard to say. Rob walks on. Sometimes the rooms have an item or two, but most times they don't. As he walks, he has conversations in his head with his coworkers, the kind of chat one has when they find themselves in the break room waiting for their coffee to brew. How about those Dodgers last night? You're going to surprise the wife with a 20th anniversary trip to Tahiti? That sounds amazing. Sucks that little Caitlin needs.
I'm glad Rob's down here. He's the most boring asshole in the world. This is his fantasy conversation.
Right. Yeah. He deserves the Backrooms and nothing less.
All I can think of is like John McClane from Die Hard in here. Just running around in bare feet. He'd own it. He'd be fine. He'd be fine.
He'd be right at home.
Braces. Our dental plan isn't that great. Rob also talks to Grace in his head. Sorry about the elevator. I'm just blowing off some steam. You're pretty. I wish I knew how to talk to you instead of resorting to juvenile pranks to get your attention. He wonders what magic Grace did to transport him to this desolate yellow
Not a good way to get a date.
Rob can hear the phone ringing loud and clear,
although
it's still hard to know exactly where it's coming from. He sees the creatures a few more times. He stares them down and cracks his belt at them. They reluctantly slink away. He also sees a lady in a power suit with a shell-shocked expression, but she scurries away before he can say anything to her. Then almost unexpectedly, he steps into a room just like all the others, except there's a black business phone on a desk in the center of the room. Rob sits down to wait. It's not long before the phone rings. His hand trembling, Rob picks it up. Hello? He's surprised to find that his voice is rusty from disuse. He clears his throat and tries again. Hello? The line is buzzy. The connection not the greatest. It takes a moment for Rob to process what the woman on the phone is yelling about. It's been a long time since anyone has spoken to him. The technician was supposed to come to her house between 9 and 4, and it's now 4:17, and no one has showed up. And what is he going to do about it? Rob sets the phone down. He gets under the desk and lays there in the fetal position. He doesn't care that his button-up shirt is getting wet. The back rooms. Depending on whom you ask, there are over 100 levels of back rooms, each simply waiting for some poor, unsuspecting soul to somehow glitch out of reality and get stuck in a horrific maze. Some levels have horrible humanoid monsters. Some levels are gaily decorated with balloons and bunting that says happy birthday. Of course, were you to show up for a birthday party in the back rooms, chances are you would not survive the killer clowns. Some purists insist there's only 3 levels to the back rooms. I'm inclined to
I'm one of
believe
those
that only
purists.
a single level exists. When the image of an empty
That's you right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hagbert says, "Girl boss, yes, the real monster, the childless professional woman." Jeremy says, "Rob's gonna miss that Dodgers game. Hurry!"
office with cheap tan stain-resistant carpet, fluorescent lighting, and yellow walls was posted in a paranormal forum. It resonated with so many because it spoke of our existential nightmares. It's a metaphor for the horrors of modern life, that for many of us our job is meaningless, unfulfilling, and rife with endless bureaucracy. The ultimate horror isn't a werewolf who wants to use your left shin bone as a chew toy, or a vampire that wants to drain you of your blood, or any other made-up horror,
No, it's
but a
just Diane.
soul-sucking job.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
She's down
Just
there.
an overworked, caffeinated, underpaid writer sitting in a drab cubicle with nothing except for my laptop, surrounded by other overworked, caffeinated, underpaid writers sitting in their drab cubicles.
You
Each of
drop
us
the
maniacally
stimulants, mate.
typing away, striving to
You
meet
get
deadlines.
yourself some sugar,
Now
man.
go watch the crazy results of a 1940s experiment by Russian scientists, or watch this to find out about the real.
Okay, so that's that one. So Kane Pixels, being aware of this stuff, probably saw something like this, and he was like, "Hey, hold my Capri Sun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make something really crazy." So I mean, I guess that's kind of that's the origin is that, and it's about the mundanity of your office jobs. That's where
Yeah.
this started, I guess.
Well, I mean, it started from that one picture of that weird yellow place where we have to find out where that place is so we can actually go to that building. And it started off with that little, that thing that I read in the promo with the antinatalist zone.
Yeah. Yes.
That's where it all started, was a picture and that little paragraph. And then people started doing all these different levels and stuff. And I think, well, I don't know if we're on the Brugly videos yet. I think there's another Kane Pixels one that I threw in.
Yeah,
So we could
missing
ground
person.
ourselves back in the spookiness.
Yeah, we got to get back. Got to get back to the master.
Yes.
Kane Pixels, the back rooms.
I'm gonna go grab like an apple and a couple of bananas,
Gotcha.
Duran Rider style. I'll be right back.
Do you want me to wait? Okay. All right. So yeah, let's get back into the show here. He says, Brissinger says, "Watch out for that caffeine drop. Very important. Key. Gotta stay spry. Gotta stay wily down in the back rooms." So this has been pretty cool. This is really cool. This is very well done. Just the Kane Pixel stuff in general. I mean, most of these creepypasta things, like as soon as like the communities get a hold of them and they try to like overly explain them, so much of what makes them attractive or effective is how nebulous they are. But as soon as you start like offering explanations, so I'll be curious to like watch this as it kind of develops probably over the next year or so with this Kane Pixels guy and how he does it. He's keeping it pretty abstract. He's keeping it pretty obtuse. He's kind of giving you answers to a certain degree, but just not explaining them, which makes it a lot more fun, in my opinion. Brissinger says, "There are so many abandoned buildings that look like that. It's crazy." Gaming Dragon says, "Is Sam Elliott down there or has he gone down there?" Well, you know how they do. All right, let's get started. I don't think he needs me to wait for him. "28 years old, last seen." I'm pretty sure even these are computer generated. It also reminds me a little bit of the Stanley Parable. Seems like that's also a jumping off point, at least for maybe for this concept in general, if people are familiar with the Stanley Parable. 2 years old. God damn. Infinite sadness. Even that is CG? Even these people? That's CG? That's crazy. Brissinger says, watch a video of someone who can walk upside down on all fours. Creepy shit. Oh, I know. You ever see like The Exorcist, or at least the uncut version, the extended Exorcist? That's when she comes down the stairs. That was a real person. Brissinger said, what's the Stanley Parable? The Stanley Parable is a video game that has kind of like, based on the video we just watched, the one about like the subtext being about like you're kind of the trapped in like your corporate life, or being trapped in a cubicle, being kind of a wage slave, that being the subtext that they brought up in that explainer video. That's kind of what the Stanley Parable is about. And it's about the nature of choice, and it's about like kind of going down endless hallways and endless rooms and endless stuff. And it's a very fun video game. If you've never played it, I would suggest checking it out. Gaming Dragon says, I thought the Backrooms was just some abandoned building that actually was a maze. Like, so finding out that it's made in Blender is disappointing, but still impressive. Yeah, I can understand that, right? Because you're just like, whoa, this is like so impressive that somebody did that. That somebody fucking like practically did this. And I was very confounded because I had never heard of Blender until tonight. But like you said, it's still like super impressive, that because of how effective it is and how much it actually tricks you. Like, you actually buy into it when you first see that, when you see that found footage one, that first one. It's pretty wild. Hybrid says that crab walk scene was lost in all but a still picture for decades. Is that really true? Before the extended edition of The Exorcist came out? Well, that's crazy. So even these people, even these are CG renders? Wow. Because you think like that would give it away.
There are a couple of less well done ones where it does give it away, where it's a blatant rip off of this, and the guys are walking all funny like they have shit in their pants.
Like, that does not look like a CG like animated person walking. Maybe he's blending things here. I don't know.
Hold it.
Brr.
I don't know. I've never seen this like that. It may just be part of the environment. But it makes no sense. Why would they do it again completely? This makes no sense. This wasn't in the last report. No, this is definitely new. It's organic. Is some kind of fungus?
Oh, this is actually, he's pulling from a lot of stuff. Like, this is actually this is kind of reminds me of the movie Annihilation that came out a couple years ago. There's like a moment that looks just like that. Hagbard says, tricks on you. They were real people that shit themselves. Jerry Moby says, side note, shitting in a hazmat suit is next level fear. Can't get away from, can't escape. There's no escape. Whoa, hold on a second. Hold on a second. If anybody blame him. Okay. Oh boy, that shit is disturbing.
Yeah, so I think this is where we take it down a couple of notches and go into the fucking Brugly videos, right?
Yeah, this is Backrooms Level 1 Explained. This is a nice little 5-minute explainer. And I think this is, but this is in reference to the actual creepypasta, right? This is not in reference to,
Yeah. So the
These
yellow hallways is level 0.
yeah.
And then the next level you go to is level 1. And I want to watch a couple of these different level videos so you can get an idea of how quickly things get out of hand once you get past the initial creepypasta.
Okay.
And then before we're done with these, we'll watch the new Brugly video where he himself reacts to the Kane Pixels thing. He has
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
some things to say that I take umbrage with.
Bursinger says shoe missing.
And welcome to the second day of Brugmas. If you're new here, Brugmas is where I upload every single day from December the 12th until Christmas Day, and then my schedule goes back to every other day posting after that. And the theme of this Brugmas is, of course, the first 13 levels of the Backrooms. Yesterday's video was on level 0, so that means today's video will be all about level 1. Hopefully you all enjoy. Thank you for watching, and let's get into it. Level 1 of the Backrooms is considered a Class 1 area because of these reasons that I always say, so I'm just going to show you. The level looks like a huge warehouse that has concrete floors and walls, and there's even like exposed rebar everywhere. Additionally, there's some fog that hangs really low to the ground on this level, and it comes from an unknown source. Nice. So the fog causes condensation to happen, which makes these puddles form on the ground. So unlike level 0, this level has a constant supply of water that you can actually drink, and electricity that doesn't make a humming noise. This makes level 1 a welcome sight for weary travelers. This level can get really expansive though. It's got staircases and elevators and secluded rooms and winding hallways all throughout, so try your best not to get lost. This level produces random crates with supplies that seem to appear and disappear at random. These crates can contain food and almond water, and sometimes they even have batteries, tarps, clothes, medical equipment, and weaponry. Nice. But sometimes the boxes have really dumb stuff, like random car parts or boxes of crayons, or even live mice. What? Some crates also have...
It's like a Ready Player One, a little bit. So, do you know like the history behind like who the fuck decided these things? I mean, I assume it was like a community, but like who built it out? Like, how do they have like an understanding and awareness that, and they've been able to keep it like consistent like that? Game Dragon says, so it's like an augmented reality kind of game. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it started, but I think Kane Pixels is also kind of doing an augmented reality game, his own version of it, in a certain way. You're muted, Dan.
The answer to your question is that there are 3 wikis, Backrooms wikis.
Yeah.
Where who the fuck knows what Reddit nerds are in charge of them that are like deciding all the different rules for all these different levels and who's submitting them, and they start going into like these Brugly videos, starts talking about like, you know, fan Backrooms levels. It's like, well, who's the fans and who's the people who are actually writing the Backrooms?
Yeah.
It's all fucking made up.
Loose change or human hair. So that's nice, I guess. These crates should be approached with caution since what's inside of them is random, but you definitely should approach them just in case there's good stuff, obviously. A weird quirk about this level is that there are strange, crude drawings and paintings of an unknown origin that appear on the walls and floors of the level. They sometimes change how they look, and they sometimes also disappear when you're not looking at them. Just like level 0, sometimes level 1 can experience light flickering. When this happens, supplies often vanish when the lights flash off, and entities also spawn then. These creatures tend to avoid areas with lights, so just hang around a bright spot, and you should be good. Also, since the objects disappear randomly, it's been found that if you actually hold onto the objects, then they don't disappear. They seem to only disappear when they're just laying by themselves. An area called the Hub is also located on level 1. It's a long tunnel that has doors to different levels on it.
And so these photos, the reference photos, I assume are real places. Right?
Yeah.
They must be.
I think so.
And that's how they're like kind of building out the concepts and building out the levels, is like just like we saw with that hotel from the found footage episode of the Kane Pixels thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of the time, there are wanderers here, and it's actually a pretty popular area. Level 1 is home to the first main Meg base, which, if you remember from my Level 0 explained video, used to be in the archived version of Level 0, but it got moved to Level 1. I think it's for the better. The base is named Base Alpha, and it houses about half of all of the Meg teams. They also take wanderers in as well. The base is located near an entrance
I have
to
to mention this, the whole Meg thing. I forget what it stands for. There are all these like tribes and like groups that are down in the back rooms. And here's where it starts to lose all of its magic for me.
Well, because they start explaining it.
Yeah, you start explaining it, and then there's like groups of people. So it's like, it's not that bad. Like, yes, it will be terrible to be ripped away from your family, but if there are like groups of people down there who are surviving, like it's not going to be that bad.
It reminds me of like that. I don't know if you ever watched it, that show Lost. And like
I never watched it.
the first 2 seasons are like really great because everything's so like obtuse and everything's a mystery. And as soon as they start like offering answers, like it just becomes dumb. And you're just like, and you kind of loses you a little bit because the answer will never be satisfying for stuff like this. It'll never be satisfying. Because when you were away, I was kind of talking about like, I'm curious what Kane Pixels will do, like with his instincts, because he's giving you answers when he's doing these little filler episodes, but he's keeping them, he's obscuring them.
Right.
And he's inviting you to kind of figure it out yourself, and read into things. And that's part of the fun of the community event where you're like, oh, you're trying to figure it out together with the community, groups of people, and like, what do these things mean? So I'm curious, like how much you would understand about his version of the Backrooms if you were very familiar with this stuff.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're like the people who have gotten really into this stuff over the last couple of years. When Kane Pixels came out, they're like, wait, this guy's not following the rules. Wait a second.
Which wouldn't you be stoked? Like, yeah, he's like giving us a new life. Like the Backrooms was kind of dormant for a little bit.
Are any fans of anything stoked when somebody does a cool version of it that takes liberties?
No, that's true. Fair enough. I mean, I'm okay with that stuff. I like adaptation. I like growth. I like people building on things and surprising me. Gaming Dragon says kind of turns it into a Call of Duty game. I guess to a certain degree, or just like I don't know if it's like Call of Duty would be like a massive multiplayer like Rust or something.
Yeah, when you're talking about entities and crates of supplies spawning, then you've officially gone into like, this is Zoomers scaring each other with like a scary video game story.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like Goosebumps, you know? It's like R.L. Stein type stuff.
Exactly. That's great. It's Goosebumps for Zoomers. Yeah.
The level and is heavily guarded in order to ward off creatures, obviously. The next outpost is called the BNTG's Traders Keep. The BNTG stands for Backrooms National Trade Group, which I've already made a video about them and Meg, so links below if you want to check that out. The place is called Traders Keep, and it's a city-like complex that has a semi-normal social infrastructure. There are about 415 people who live here.
This is too much. This is way too much. They've added they've way overly complicated this, and now there's like a whole world, survivors, tribes.
And if you go through this Brugly channel, there is level after level after level after level.
But do you think it would have been, so say if you were like a nascent person that was new about Backrooms, do you think it would be cool, like if you had organically grown with the story, then it would have been cool? Like, but it's only because we're coming to it so late into its creation that we're kind of like, now we can have that kind of bird's eye view and be like, and also we get to juxtapose it with the Kane Pixels thing, which is so beautifully obscure and weird and David Lynch like. And
I think that you can appreciate it coming into it from the Kane Pixels thing with the bird's eye view, because there are, and I didn't dig too much, but there are levels of the Backrooms that I actually found very creepy, like later levels. Ones that I couldn't remember exactly which ones they were, and I didn't have time to track them down. But when you get into some of these Brugly videos, the ones that are, again, they're more non-specific, they're more ephemeral.
Yeah.
Traders keep a city-like place where 14 or 15 people live. It's like, what, are they taking a fucking census down in the Backrooms? That takes all of the romanticism out of it.
Yeah.
So, but there are also levels that are just creepy, and then there are also levels that like aren't creepy but are like really sort of paradise type levels that are like interesting. They're like, people are dumping a lot of interesting lore into it.
Okay.
I will give them that.
Yeah.
And it is, it occupied me through the end of my last busy season. I would load up the new Brugly videos and be like, oh, what are these other levels of the Backrooms? Oh, that one's stupid. Oh, that one's actually kind of creepy. Oh, that one's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you take it with a grain of salt, you take it for what it is. Even the wiki version of it is really cool. The Brugly version of it is really cool. But I think that you're right. It would be more appreciated if I grew with it, because now I've seen the Kane Pixels distillation of it, and that's like the perfected version.
Yeah, but which, in respect to everybody that did all this work beforehand, like we wouldn't have the Kane Pixels version if it wasn't for all this stuff. Like he's got like this kind of gold mine to work from. So
here constantly, and they keep a friendly relationship with Meg. And this place is one of the main supply hubs for wanderers in the entire Backrooms. And it's a nice place to take refuge and experience some sort of normalcy. It's located in the storage hall section of level 1. The last outpost or place is called Tom's Diner. Again, if you remember my level 0 explain video from yesterday, Tom's Diner used to be on level 0, now it's here. The diner is run by Tom, obviously, who was a chef in real life before he no-clipped into the Backrooms. He has plenty of food in storage, and he gets supplies from the BNT.
it's like playing Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 4, and you meet the merchant in random places. Would you like to buy something?
So if I can like build a new life down here and like get Denver omelets,
Yeah.
it's really not that fucking scary.
Yeah, I would just stay. I'm just, you know what, guys? You know what? I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill in level 6, and I'm just gonna wait this out. And hopefully, if somebody makes it to the end of the game, they can come back and tell us. I'm just gonna be living outside of space and time, and enjoying this delicious food that Tom makes.
Every few months so he can stay stocked. Tom's Diner is a common place for social activities and a pretty fun time overall, and a lot of people use this area as like a rendezvous point. It's strangely wholesome, bro. Not even gonna lie. There are a ton of ways to enter level 1, but the most obvious one is to come from level 0 by no clipping. But if you're not a level 0, you could climb a tree
Because you just know how to no clip.
11.1 or
Well, yeah, enter by no clipping from level 0, because this is like not. These are accidents, right? These are accidents based because of some experiment that's going on.
When you get deeper into the lore, you can actually teach yourself how to no clip and like control it.
Ah, okay. All right. Go into the executable file, enter a cheat code.
Yeah.
Or you could complete the King's Trial on level 94. Or sometimes there's just doors labeled level 1 scattered throughout the Backrooms. You can walk through one of those doors and you'll end up here. And yeah, that's it for this explanation. Pretty much level 1 is just a huge empty warehouse area with a Meg base, a BNTG base, Tom's Diner, and supply crates around. This place's catalog is a pretty safe place to always come back to. Almost like a home in a way. It's one of the main spots in the Backrooms where you can live comfortably. I think this level is actually becoming one of my favorite levels because it's got people there
kid.
like Tom who
Yeah,
are
just
trying to
cut
make
it off. Just cut them off. Cut them off,
situation.
Start playing the music. Go to his next one.
Let's go to the next one. Oh, sorry, kid.
we can kind of skip around this next one because this is an example of a level that I like both love and hate. I think it's the water level.
Yeah, this is a thalassophobia.
Yes, this is a level that could be great if it wasn't so stupid.
I like that nice caveat. It would be awesome if it wasn't so fucking dumb.
And welcome to day 8 of Brugmas, which you probably know by now is where I'm uploading
We are watching every episode of Brugmas tonight.
Backrooms for 13 days straight. You guys are probably annoyed with me saying that every video. This video will be all about level 7. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let's get into it. Level 7 of the Backrooms, aka level Thalassophobia, is classified as class 4 and is unsafe and unsecure and has a medium entity count. I wonder if you guys ever get tired of hearing me say that. You probably do. This level is a very difficult level to get through and is said to be a, quote, significant obstacle to the exploration of level 8.
It's impossible to get through. It's so stupid. Make it possible to get through.
Much is known about level 7 and not too many people have even explored it. But what is known is that the level is made up of 2 distinct areas. The first area.
How can you skip levels? Do you only skip levels if you can fucking like
That's
no
the
clip
thing.
into the other levels?
Yeah, and apparently, as is explained in one of these Brugly videos, the first 13 levels you usually have to travel through in sequential order. So explain to me how the fuck you get through this level to get to level 8. Okay? You do that to me at the end of this video.
Area is called the entrance area, and the second area is called the main area. Really creative names there. The main area is pretty much a huge expanse of water, similar to the ocean in real life, except this goes straight down to get to the different parts of the ocean. And there's a bunch of segments you can pass through, but we'll get onto that stuff later. This level doesn't have any fixed light sources at all, and there's no visible sun, and the only fixed light source is in the entrance area, and there's just a lingering dim light to the entire level. Some of the water in the main area of level 7 is extremely cold, and has been compared to touching liquid nitrogen, which means you probably shouldn't stay in it for too long, obviously. Now I'm going to talk about the two different areas, starting with the entrance area. This is the only known entrance to level 7, and it's a fully furnished room with a bookcase, a coffee table, and a lone chair, and one single ceiling light. A quirk about this level and this room is that it's actually rotated horizontally, but the gravity keeps your feet on the floor somehow. It's also important to note that this entrance area and the main area have different gravitational pulls, so the gravity works different in this area than it does when you're in the water. Once you get into this entrance area, you'll start to feel like you're being pulled down to the water.
These fucking nerds, dude.
This is what happens when you get a bunch of socially awkward, like public school kids together and creep each other out.
Which is below you. There's actually a hole in the floor that looks down at the water. And the gravity here is much stronger than on Earth, so that's going to be a shock. And this also means it's really hard to float on top of the water since you're constantly being pulled down. And the next part of the level is obviously the main area, which is seemingly an infinite stretch of ocean that goes out in all directions. And you get to this part of the level, like I said earlier, by being pulled from the entrance room down into the water. The entrance room is above the water, about 4.5 meters to be exact. So you drop down into this water when you get here. Nice. Now, there are several islands in the water that are made up of an unknown rock. These are located about 2 kilometers from the entrance. They've got nothing on them except one, which we'll talk about later. But they're really isolated, and I don't know why you would stay there. The ocean part of level 7 is pretty much...
No, well, because he just overuses just too much. He just pops up too much. Gaming Dragon says there's another video talking about thalassophobia by the same guy who did the liminal spaces video. Oh, okay.
The level's still
completely unexplored, and it's pretty empty for the first 1.2 kilometers down. And this area is called the daylight zone.
Well, you can see like visually, like if it wasn't explained, and you were just to see like a visual representation of it, if like Kane Pixels gets to level 7,
yeah,
however the fuck he would do that, like because it would be so obtuse and it'd be so weird and so strange. But when somebody just explains it to you, when you're just reading the wiki, it really takes the wind out of it.
Yes.
It really does, because it's just a testament to like how well that kid is utilizing all of this information, all of this stuff, and knowing what to show you, knowing what not to show you, what to tell you, what not to tell you. Like that's impressive as a storyteller. I know, like I'm filleting this kid, but like, whoa, holy shit! I mean, I'm patting this kid on the back, but like. It's impressive. It's impressive because you can take something that's kind of at its core a little stupid.
I'm sorry, but I got a clip what just happened. The way you were like, "Whoa!" You were like Scott Thompson in Kids in the Hall. Oh, I was just taking a shower.
Yeah. Why? What are they? What are those types?
Since it's the brightest area, you can actually see underwater. You see what you're doing. But the further you go down from the entrance into the
Brissinger says liminal order. Yeah, Jack Murphy's down there, dude. Jack Murphy's down there. He's the final
pull
boss.
You down, yeah.
He's the final boss.
Water, the more the light decreases and the more weird stuff you'll start to see. After you pass that initial 1.2 kilometers, you'll get to an area called the Twilight Zone. This zone's water is full of bones and scrap metal, even some full skeletons, which are pretty much humans always. These skeletons are from humans, but they have weird things wrong with them, like elongated jaws or really sharp teeth or no eye sockets, just like really weird stuff. There are also skeletons of massive fish floating around here. These skeletons can get up to 20 meters or 65 feet long. That's really long. This point is where the water pressure starts to get stronger. It won't break your bones or anything, but you'll be able to notice it. After the Twilight Zone, the next zone is called the Midnight Zone, and this area is about 6 kilometers down from the entrance.
How are you
pretty much
breathing?
only humanoid skeletons.
Take a breath, buddy.
6 kilometers down. He's like doesn't have a fucking pressure suit on. He's what is wrong with these back rooms?
These things are crazy.
skeletons here. Like, that's literally all there is, just a bunch of bodies floating around. It's like a big graveyard. There's also been some reports of the giant fish skeletons here too, and they've been described by wanderers as, quote, incomprehensible in size. Nice. Now, there's only one more area of the ocean past the midnight zone, and it's referred to as the Abyss. This area has been deemed too dangerous to explore, and the record for the longest person exploring it was 1 minute and 45 seconds. Nice.
Stop it. Stop doing that.
This is officially part of our Cameron series.
Mr. Pliskin says seminal fluid order. And Brissinger says not as long as Jack Schlong.
The Abyss seems to have huge piles of rocks and tar that are always bubbling, and we don't know why, but it's weird. There's also a bunch
You
of
just hear echoing through the back rooms 69 for 69.
humanoid skeletons here as well. And other than that, there's not much known about what goes on down there. But there is a rumored entrance to level 8 through an underwater cave, but this isn't officially confirmed. If you know anything about the Backrooms, you'll know that there's only one entity on level 7, and it's known as the Thing on level 7. It's apparently ridded the waters of any other life, and it's an extreme threat. It's unnaturally fast and strong, and it can detect things from really far away. It can sense, track, and eviscerate a victim within seconds. Nice. So if you want to explore this level, you're going to need to bring some kind of bait to throw away from your body if it starts chasing you. The full depth of level 7 isn't fully known, but it can be assumed that it goes insanely deeply, obviously. And there's actually been fragments of synthetic fiber that have been collected from the water, revealing that the floor of the level at the bottom of the ocean is made out of carpet. What?
Okay, kids. Now you're losing me, kids. Mr. Pliskin said Jack Murphy has a bussy. That he does. I've seen pictures.
Let me save you some time. There's a door at the bottom of this ocean where you get to level 8.
Okay. And that's why nobody's gotten through, because they can't get past the creature and get that deep.
And there's about 7 more instances of Brugler going, nice.
Nice. Okay, well, we've seen enough of that. I think now the next one, I think, is another Kane Pixels video.
There was one more.
No, there's one more.
There's one more, and then we can either, well, before we go with the Kane Pixels, maybe we'll watch I just want to watch the last tail end of what Brugler has to say about the Kane Pixels one. But first, let's do this one last stupid level.
Okay, yeah, this one's short, too. It's like 3 minutes long, so.
I had to share this one because this is just like the culmination of how stupid this gets.
Yeah. All right, we're not going to share it again. Chrome tab. So this one's called Backrooms Level Run for Your Life Explained.
God, this is so corny.
Level Run for Your Life or level exclamation mark. This one's been highly requested. Let's get into it. Level Run for Your Life is classified as class 5, so it's unsafe and unsecure, and it is infested with entities, and I mean infested. The physical layout of the level is a huge part in why it's so creepy, but it's not the only reason, trust me. This level looks...
It's like encapsulates the best of like horror fiction and also the worst impulses of like the Zoomer generation's need to autistically explain everything down to the last fucking detail. There can be no mystery. There can be no anything. These are kids that were raised on like, and I hate to say this, I hate to invoke it, but on like Disney, the Disneyification of like Star Wars, like, or the prequels, when you start making things and filling in holes that nobody ever needed to see explicitly told, and you actually literally ruin things.
Right.
You ruin things. Like, for instance, like that Obi-Wan series, right? The Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Yeah. I'm stoked to see Ewan McGregor be Obi-Wan again, but at the same time, I don't need to know any of it. You're fucking ruining it. You're ruining the archetype of the idea of he's Merlin and Luke is fucking King Arthur.
Right.
And he gave him to a family, and now Uncle Owen's like going to be part of action beats. Like, no.
I've always wanted to see Uncle Owen kick some ass, and this is what exactly you're talking about, because the scary thing about the Backrooms is being trapped in this inescapable place, and every once in a while some creature fucking tries to chase you down. So then you have this level, which is the distillation of the scary part, made so blatantly obvious that it's retarded.
Brissinger says level exclamation mark. Fucking Star Wars Disney. God damn it. Ewan isn't even stoked, I'm sure. Oh, he was stoked for that paycheck. Let me tell you what, I can tell you that much. He's like, what's his name? The actor that played Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac. when he was being interviewed about like, hey, with all the Disney Plus series coming on, would you ever want to do like a Poe Dameron series? And he was like, well, maybe if like I need another house. I was like, yeah, we're here for that. We're here for the art, aren't we, fellas? We're here to be
The-
part of a tradition. We're here to be part of something.
The black dude gave the best answer to that. He was like, "They ain't going to Disney Plus me."
Oh, that's right. Yeah. What's his name? I can't remember his name. He's actually a decent actor, but yeah, it was fun.
John Boyega.
John Boyega. That's right. That's right. Brissinger says Uncle Owen beat down Superman that hoe. Jeremy says, I hope Uncle Owen calls droids slurs the whole series. Hey, we find out Uncle Owen is just a huge bigot. So we can't really be that sad when he's literally fucking burnt
Charred,
to a
yeah.
skeleton.
Like a hospital hallway without any normal lights on. Instead, there are these flashing red lights and a constant alarm sound that's blasting throughout the whole level. That would drive me insane, but I think that would be the least of my worries. There are a ton of doors on this level, one every 3 meters to be exact, and every 10 meters, there are these huge, big, glowing exit signs that are flashing. The entire length of the hallway is around 20 kilometers or 12 and a half miles long. Not too bad, right? Wrong. The second you spawn in this level, you'll see a horde of hostile entities right behind you, running at you full speed, and everyone spawns exactly halfway in the middle of this level. So the level's 12 miles long, you'll spawn 6 miles in, and in order to live, you have to outrun that army of creatures for 6 miles to the end of the level. You'll have to run at full speed without stopping, all while avoiding things in your way, like hospital beds and chairs, and sometimes even clumps are just there. So that's nice. The good news is, I guess, that every so often there are energy bars scattered on the tables in the hallways, and you can eat these in order to
Yes, I agree. Retarded.
maintain stamina, but you have
Because-
to eat them on the run since
You gotta
Well,
get your
yeah.
stamina level back up, guys.
Yeah, you gotta carb the fuck up when you're running away from this 6 mile long entity train. And yeah, it's so stupid. Like, I'm running out of energy. Let me just chow down this banana chia bar at full speed, and then I'll metabolize that instantly and like outrun these creatures.
Durian Ryder, if he were to be in there, he would just be like, "Sorry, mate, too much fat in that. I'll be fine. I'll wait until the next level. Maybe there'll be bananas."
Look at all these fucking entities, man. Look how fat they are. I'll outrun every one of these entities in level
Hey, look at my
exclamation-
girlfriend Natasha. Look at her.
Yeah.
Look at her.
level
look at
exclamation mark, kid. None of them know how to exercise. None of them know how to move, mate.
well, you're being chased by a horde of hounds, facelings, and skin stealers. So if you do run the 6 miles to the end, you'll see a door labeled exit at the very end of the hallway. Once you go through that door, you'll be sent to a different level, specifically a more peaceful one, and the Backrooms will never ever send you back to this
That's
level
very
again.
specific.
So I guess that's kind of nice. If the entities do catch you, you'll meet a terrible slow demise, a fate far worse than actually dying, according to the wiki. Nice. There is actually a colony here called the Creature Befrienders, and they've got 23
Oh, no.
members, and their leader is
No.
named Derek. And they joined this.
Oh, their leader's name is Derek.
See how stupid it gets? See how stupid this
A
gets?
colony of creature befrienders. Kane Pixels, I know you're watching this. Don't do this. Don't do this.
He has the taste.
Army of
Scott.
creatures
Dude,
and befriended them.
Here's the
And
thing. They're pissed off at Kane Pixels because he doesn't do this retarded shit.
Yeah, because he's like, what do you mean? You cut out Derek and Tom's Diner? What the fuck, dude?
There aren't even any creature defenders.
That was that was an homage to my fucking dead dad, bro. The fuck?
And supposedly they're nice with wanderers and they give them food and supplies, except it's most definitely a trap. Could they have made
It's a
it?
trap because you have to pay with sex.
Yeah.
You got to pay with that ass,
And
boy.
then when you're busy fucking the creature defenders, the creatures actually come up and fuck you too.
Yeah, that's a whole fuck train.
It's
Then
like
you-
I said, it's a fate worse than death.
And you just hear Jack Murphy chuckling from
Yes.
the top floor.
Yes.
Any more obvious. So it sounds like the best thing is to just not.
What? I'm just into kinky sex. I'm just
There
into
you go.
kinky shit, dude. Whatever. Whatever.
Pissed on the
Worst of it
entity.
all. Entering this level can happen randomly to random people, which would actually be terrifying to just randomly end up here. But there are other entrances as well in case you want to voluntarily come here. You can no clip under a table with an exclamation mark on it on level 521, and that'll put you here. And if you touch a Christmas decoration on level 655, you'll be sent here. To exit, well, I've already described it. You got to run 6 miles or 10 kilometers to the exit door, but there are some other exits as well, even though these are hypothetical and only work sometimes. I repeat, they only work sometimes. You can sometimes no clip through a random door, and that'll put you on level 832, or you can no clip through an exit sign. But these exits don't always work, and they're very dangerous, so just run the 6 miles and get it over with. That is it for this explanation.
Thank God. Thank God. No, that is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yes. And
Energy bars and random tables. Like, I mean, come on.
See how quickly it
Why
spirals.
would you do that? Like,
and that's why I wanted to be your Sherpa on this, because like it could be a really wild ride if there wasn't a little bit of. But yeah, before we go back into the good shit, there's Brugly gives the explanation why these fucking nerds don't like.
Oh, okay. You want to do that one?
Yeah, that one's in your. I think it's one of the last messages I sent you.
One of the last messages you sent me.
And I'm pretty sure we can move quickly through the first part of it because his true response to it is at the end.
Okay. Oh, he's changed the his avatar.
Well, it's not Christmas anymore. Yeah, it's some weird, stupid alien thing. I really hate it even more.
You really lost us, Brugly. You know, we like what you do. We support you in your endeavors, but come on, dude. Don't be so cringe. Don't be so fucking cringe. Brissinger says, I'm pretty sure they work every time. All right, here we go. So this is his explainer. Intro, back history, why it's special, my analysis, my critiques, taking up for the 3 wikis, why the Backrooms concept is dope. Should we just start and just see?
Yeah, let's just start and plow through it. I forget where it starts to get really good.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Today is the long-awaited day where I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on the Backrooms found footage that was uploaded by Kane Pixels over the course of a few months. There's like 6 different videos that I'm going to talk about and analyze. I'm not going to react to it, though, because
he crushed my bussy. He crushed it.
I did.
He destroyed my bussy. Motherfucker's got a dick like a soda can, motherfucker.
I'm not a reactor. I just want to talk about it a little bit, give my opinions, give my analyzation, if you will. But I've literally had like over 1,000 comments on here asking me to go over this footage or give my opinions. So I decided to wait until the hype died down a little bit to give my opinions on it. Since, like I said, I'm not a reactor. But yeah, with that said, I definitely do want to hear everyone's.
Well, don't worry, Brissinger. We are, and now we're
Yes.
reacting to your analysis and reaction.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Hot reacts only.
Opinions on these Backrooms videos. So let me know down below in the comment section what you think, if you like them or not. And yeah, let's get right into it. So for the start of the video, I'm going to give a little bit of a history on the first episode of this found footage that Kane uploaded. If you've already seen it all, if you already know when it's uploaded, skip to the next timestamp.
Okay, skip to the next timestamp
Okay.
because we don't need this dude to do
Why?
any more talking than he needs to.
Than absolutely necessary.
So the question is, well, what makes this specific upload so important? There's many
Because it's very well made. Done. Next section.
It cut out all your gay shit.
answers to that question, but I mostly believe it's because it opened up an entire new sector of content that the Backrooms hadn't quite seen yet in this magnitude. Sure, there had been other CGI Backrooms videos, but none of them quite stacked up to this level of quality. Now I'm going to quickly summarize and analyze the rest of the Backrooms videos that he's uploaded so far and give my opinions and analysis right after. So of course, being a Backrooms YouTuber, I watched the first found footage video as soon as I could, and I really liked it, actually. I thought it was cool. I love how Kane was able to turn something as simple.
You thought it was fucking cool, dude? You thought it was cool? You just can't impress anybody these days. I swear to God. I mean, maybe that's just because I'm an old man. I'm just like, whoa, does this kid do this on a cell phone?
No, because you understand what went into it.
Well, yeah. Well, how thoughtful it is. It's actually very thoughtfully made. Brissinger says, oh, yeah, lots of hype. Jeremy says, I'm guilty of doing this kind of ADD style editing for a good year in my YouTube career. Got tired of it quick. Yeah, you just got to keep it as natural as possible. Simple fade ins, fade outs, your voice. You don't need all this fucking alien anime shit.
simple as the concept of the Backrooms into a real horror experience that could literally be turned into a movie if a production company got their hands on it. I thought the voice acting and the sound design was actually superb, and I just really enjoyed it.
Why is he like so surprised? He's like, well, actually, it wasn't awful. I don't understand that, even that perspective.
Because they have such a fucking high
opinion.
Yeah, they
of
have
the
a high
Backrooms.
opinion of the Backrooms. Like, oh well, he did an all right version of it. It didn't follow the rules though.
But you know. Are you sure? Cool, says Brissinger. Hagbert says he made this on his Atari. Pretty impressive, actually. Yeah, he did. The Gaming Dragon says, I didn't know Backrooms YouTuber was a thing. Well, now you do. It's a whole subculture. This is a whole new vein that has been tapped for future nightcaps. Watching people be experts on creepypastas.
It was refreshing. The only thing I found goofy about the first video was the creature on level 0, but I'll talk more about that later. Overall, it was dope, and I've watched it probably 6 times. Then, after this video, a week later, on the 14th, Kane uploaded another video called Backrooms The Third Test. This is the video where we really get an insight on the Kane Backrooms canon, or the Kanan, if you will, because it introduces the Backrooms as a government-created and accessed place. The voice acting and everything in this video was great as well, and I actually really like this one. It was pretty cool, not gonna lie. 3 days after that video, the Backrooms first
He saw the first one, and his expectations were not set anywhere. He was just like, "Oh, surprise! The second one was good too." Fuck, dude. Hagbert says, "I'm gonna start doing Backrooms explaining on my OnlyFans." We're all back. We are Backrooms YouTubers now. Okay, this is our new identity. This is what Zoobox is about now. Is just watching Backrooms explainers and reacting to them.
Untacked video was uploaded where we're introduced to a company called Async, which in the Kane canon, is the government agency that has opened up the Backrooms. I'll talk more about my opinions on that later. 11 days later, the Backrooms Missing Persons was uploaded. This video shows that a huge influx of people have gone missing over the years due to the Backrooms being opened, and it's also the first official exploration we get to see from an Async team. Video is obviously well made, sound design was great, and we get to see a body. Overall, that's dope. And I actually think this one is my favorite one out of all.
I'm like really starting to dislike this person.
Yes.
Overall, that's dope. That shit's dope, dude. It's sick. It's sick as fuck. I what the fuck? Totally fucking rad. Gaming Dragon says, well, this is obviously a high quality creepypasta, not your average one. Yeah, and it's apparent from the first fucking thing he released. Brissinger says, Hagbard, you know you're really talking about Grindr, okay? You don't have an OnlyFans. oh, shots fired. Jeremy says, I'm going to do a Backrooms explainer on LinkedIn. Yeah, that'd get you a job. You know what I mean?
All the ones he's made so far. It's super fun to watch. The next video after that one was uploaded on February the 12th and is titled The Backrooms Informational Video. This is where the Kane Backrooms canon is starting to get fleshed out more and is pretty much going over Async's protocol for exploring and researching the newly created area of the Backrooms. It talks about the many names that the Backrooms is referred to as, and we get to see another exploration team sent by Async to explore level 0. And we even get to see what looks like a couple other levels or two. This video is dope. I thought it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the talking between the explorers in this
Get yourself a fucking thesaurus, dude, please. It was dope. It was cool. It was awesome. It was rad.
But this video leads us to the latest upload, which was made on February the 23rd.
Okay, so we're getting into stuff we haven't watched yet.
Yeah, you can skip this a little bit.
All right, so we'll go with my critiques.
Yeah, here we go. Here's where we're going to get
That
real.
being said, I do have some stuff to say about it.
Of course you do.
Tarami says to Jeramobi, you will get a job offer from that. I agree. You probably will. Hagrid says, I've got both. I got bills to pay. He's got Grindr and he's got OnlyFans. Tarami says, dope. Jeramobi says, I need that raise.
On one hand, I think it's really cool to see the Backrooms being shown on the big screen, if you will, and for it to get all this attention and all this reaction and this hype kind of built up around it, and even a creative twist being put on the creation and the fleshing out of the lore, too. On the other hand, a part of me does have to ask, what was the reasoning for Kane to make the new Backrooms canon that he made, the Kanan? Obviously, I have nothing against the canon, but it is kind
He's like, he's not part of the original crew, okay?
You
Like,
did
he's
get
not-
the okay from the people who own the wiki.
Did you even ask permission, bro? Did you even ask permission from this message board story we've been telling? Hey, maybe if one of you fuckers have been industrious and talented, you would have done something with it too. Instead of making it about fucking having protein bars on tables as you run down a hallway. You guys ran out of steam at some point. Jesus Christ. Trami says, "Oh, you want a salary? How about 5% and exposure?" That's correct. If you put this in LinkedIn and somebody's like, "Hey man, I really like your work. I really like your writing. How about you work for free and you get to be exposed to my audience?" I have done that one time in my life.
of curious to me that he chose to make his own canon, even though there are 3 different main wikis that he could have chosen from. YouTubers like Infographics use their Backrooms video sources as the Wikidot. I typically use the Wikidot in the fandom, and Ferrante typically use the Liminal Archives. Some would say he didn't use the Wikidot fandom or LA because they're too convoluted, so he created this async as kind of a back to the basics approach, which that opinion does have some merit. Some people think that the Backrooms has gotten too cringy or too convoluted with all the levels, and they kind of want to see it return back to the limbs.
Oh, no shit. Some people say, some critics are saying that the Backrooms has gotten a little cringe. Yes, I agree. It has. It has. And he fixed it. He fixed it for you. Nobody gave a fuck about the Backrooms until 2 months ago.
Yep.
Space, horror, no creatures type deal. But at the end of the day, there's been thousands of hours put in on each of the Backrooms wikis in writing levels or canons, creating bases and organizations, and creating a lore that I think has staying power. Obviously, like I said, I'm not saying this to discredit Kane's videos because, like I said, I actually really like them. For, I'm not even joking, and I think they're great. And I always love people putting their own twists and spins on things because every Backrooms thing is fan-made, and everything is open to interpretation, and there's no one official lore. But the only problem that I have is that...
Okay, so he admits all these, there's not one official lore, etc. But he's like, no. He brought him. All he's done so far, he removed all the bullshit. Like you said, he distilled the good things about it into like a coherent, semi-coherent, like a cohesive. Actually, the right word is cohesive. It's cohesive. It feels a part of something, and he's doling it out slowly, and he's making it more interesting by adding his own flair, his own parts of lore into it. It's like fucking Jesus Christ. This Game of Dragon says the creator gets to decide the canon, methinks. Well, that's the thing, though. There's not one person that's doing this. It's a whole community of people. There is no... I mean, you could probably track it back to the first person, I suppose, but I guarantee you they're not responsible for the vast majority of the lore that has sprung up around it. Brissinger says 69 for 69, 69 for 69. Hagbert says the group's shit is just a bunch of dorks doing self-inserts. Fuck them. Well said.
That if someone sees Kane's video and then is like, well, this sounds cool, I'm going to go look this up and check it out, and they're not going to find anything that Kane mentioned in any of his videos.
No, you should be thanking this guy. You should be thanking him. You should be you guys all should buy him a Subway party platter, okay?
Yep.
Like, he deserves it. He's injected a new life and a new audience for your dumb augmented reality story. Jeremobi says this guy definitely has a deviant art lewds that YouTube blocked in seconds.
On any wikis, async doesn't exist outside of his videos. The levels that he shows that are accessible from level 0 don't exist anywhere outside.
I hope you guys all hate it so much you don't incorporate anything he does.
See,
you don't deserve him. He's too good. You don't deserve Kane.
That's not even true, though, because in the first video, there are a couple of different levels, and this guy knows it because he made a video about. This is a little. He's getting a little disingenuous with an argument, and I kind of want to stuff him in a locker.
You know what? What's this guy's name? Brugly? Debate us, Brugly.
Yeah, you know what?
Your school, $10,000. Come on. Come debate Zoobox.
Yet another debate call
out of his video. And I'm thinking this could confuse some people more than they already are. But at this point, it's obvious that he's making his own canon, and I fully support him in doing that. I just don't want people to get confused more than they already are about
What the fuck are you
Backrooms canons
talking
and
about?
timelines. I guess for a little bit, I do just want to take up for all the writers and the creators of the wikis in a way, because they've created something way bigger than just that level 0 picture.
Yeah, and then you also said that there is no canon because all three of those sources have different versions of this. So like it should be understood that there's just different versions. There's different interpretations and takes on this concept. Already there are. And you guys are taking umbrage because this guy got millions of views. That's what the problem is. He's too big. He got popular and he didn't cite them in a way that they feel is appropriate.
And now,
Other than the fact that people are actually looking at their stuff now.
less than 6 months later, you have a whole other generation of kids that are copying Kane Pixels and doing basically rip-offs of his thing. I'd send you a couple of the links, but it's already going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally just like, there's dozens of them. If you search Backrooms on YouTube, you will find dozens of people doing exactly what Kane Pixels is doing, just figuring out their own way of making movies.
And that's the great thing about this kind of art, though. I mean, like this kid has made something that's going to inspire a bunch of other people and encourage them to go fuck around with this Blender thing, and who knows what will come from that. Tarami says, it's amazing how people will want to gatekeep. That's how the SCP thing imploded, too. Jerry Moby says, please debate abortion topics with Brugli while high on one chip. Yeah, that's right, Brugli. You come here. I'll take any side. We and you. Packy one chip challenge 2022. And we debate abortion. Okay? We debate abortion.
Over the past couple years. Even if all of it isn't novel quality each time on each wiki, it's already there. It's already posted. It's lore made for people to read into and to pick their favorites. Some like the Wikidot, some like the fandom, and some like the Liminal Archives.
And some like Kane Pixels.
Some are going to like Kane Pixels canon, and that's okay. I just don't want the writers of any of the wikis to feel like their work has gone diminished, or it doesn't mean anything, or it's been undermined just because it's Kane's video that's blown up and not their level or not their creation. At the end of the day, the Backrooms wouldn't be what it is right now if the writers from the Wikidot, fandom, and the Liminal Archives didn't create the levels and lores that they have. There wouldn't be anything whatsoever, and I certainly wouldn't be here.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, we're good with this guy. We're good with that guy.
See you later, Brugli. I started off being like, "Oh, this is it's pretty interesting. It's cool that this is here as a resource," and now I hate him.
Yes.
Like, can we get a little less Brugli, please, in this episode?
Well, we can bring it back into the actual reason why we're here and knock out the rest of these.
Because there's actually not a lot. There's only like 20 minutes of actual footage so far. So
yes, I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.
All right. Do you mind if I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. A Gaming Dragon says, so the Blender video isn't the origin. No, this has been around for a couple of years. I think like 2018, 2019. It's a creepypasta. It started on a message board, and then it kind of grew from there in the same way that Slender Man did back in the day. Like, it's so impressive. Like, even just the soundscape that he's kind of built in this little clip here, whether this is like a CG generated thing, which it is obviously, that we know that now, but like, it's so impressive. Like, it's the soundscape that actually makes it really effective. Like, the visuals are one thing, but it's the sounds. It's really, really impressive. I like how he's able to mask the voices of like very clearly young men with distortion. Tarami says it always happens. Someone does something, actually produces something, then the swarms of locusts descend on it and analyze it to death. Yeah, kind of removing some of its magic. Jerome Moby says, I forgot I saw that terribly produced Slenderman movie a few years ago. Pretty much bye-bye man levels of no faith in the final product. You know, I never saw that. That's one I'm saving for like a night. Maybe I'll get a little stoned, hang out with the wife, and watch. Sometimes, you know, it's fun to watch bad horror movies sometimes, especially shit like that. Brissinger says to Tarami, yep, that's why you have to prepare for that eventuality and eliminate it before it happens. I mean, it's interesting that there's such a backlash because there's only a backlash to this because it's popular. That's why people have turned against it. Which is the interesting thing to me, though, is that that's very different than what the Slenderman community did when Marble Hornets really blew up. Like they embraced it and they thought it was cool, and then it brought attention to everybody that was making Slenderman content because Marble Hornets was so big. So people just appreciated it. So things have definitely changed in the past few years. Trami says, I've seen parts of the Slenderman movie. It's awful and very boring. That's why you get high. That's why you get high and watch it and then embrace the cringe. Jeremy says, if you watch a stone, you will at least get some good laughs. That's the way we go. Bye Bye Man is good bad. I would agree with you, Tarami. Bye Bye Man is good bad. It's so perplexing. And so just like confusing, and there's no rules, and it's so the way the story unfolds is so stupid. Brissinger says Starship Troopers. How dare you, Brissinger? How dare you? Starship Troopers is not like that at all. It's a masterpiece, even though it's accidentally a masterpiece. So while you were away, Dan, I was talking about one of the more impressive aspects of these videos is the soundscape, like we had brought up before. Like it really, because you could create these creepy images, but if you don't have grounding with like with the soundscape there, the way that he builds it, because he's building all that stuff from scratch.
Right.
He's inserting all of those things himself, which makes it even more impressive because it's not a physical environment. So he has to build the sense of space
Right.
with sound. And that's one of the most impressive things about it, in my opinion. It's really
agree.
cool.
Totally agree.
And for somebody that young to kind of understand that and be able to actually like do it, it's pretty cool. Gaming Dragon says goo bad. Hybrid says keep this in the back of your heads. Gemini home video. If you're digging this, you'll get a kick out of that. Okay, Gemini home video. I'm going to write it down. All right, let's get to the next one. So the next one is autopsy report. Here we go.
Subject is male, somewhere between 18 and 21 years old. I estimate that the time of death was around 5 days ago, but due to the severe tissue damage, it's hard to say for sure.
Now, this is a criticism I would lodge against him. He should have got his dad or somebody to do this voiceover. It's clearly the voice of a very young guy trying to act older. Just saying. Hey, Kane Pixels. Shoot me an email. zooboxpodcast@gmail.com. I'll do it for you.
Cause of death was likely malnutrition. I was able to recover most of the digestive tract. So, things start to deviate from what we would consider to be natural. The decomposition process appears to have been stopped decaying and more sustained. Other areas, however, were completely overtaken by culture. So I took samples of some material here. At first, I thought it was an aggregated collection of pseudomonas fluorescens, but
Okay, so he's getting into the dampness and actually kind of literalizing it and making it part of the effects of the room. That's really cool. With the fungus growing, because obviously it's known in Backrooms lore that people see mushrooms growing in corners and stuff like that. But what if it actually started becoming part of the people that are in there? Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. It's also, I think, a little bit stolen, a little bit from Annihilation.
it seems to be closer to a mutated strain of simple hay bacillus, which it should be completely benign, but, well, really, I don't know what to make of this. Mr. Beck, may I ask where this subject came from?
Uh, Hybrid says, Super Mario Brothers movie, anyone? Trust the fungus. Trust the fungus. Well, there we go. Okay, so that one was interesting. A little, but he's doing like that's what I like. He's being like he's giving you answers or information about things without like being dunderheaded about it, and it invites you to speculate and think so much about like what you're watching.
Well, I think there's an important distinction to make. He's giving you information, but he is not really giving you answers.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
Like, why the fuck are they doing this?
Well,
And
that's the big question, right? Like, what is the purpose of this? I thought like it was, if you were to think about it in the theoretical sense of why they started this project, was like what I said at the top of the episode, was that it's this experimentation with like infinite space. This idea that humanity, we only have so much space available to us on the planet to store things, to do whatever, and grow as people, like in terms of just population growth and all those things exponentially growing, and we're buying more, we're creating more, we're having more children, there's more people out there, and that's why they would start fucking around with this stuff in the first place. But obviously something happened, something went wrong. You're muted.
And there's more going on here. In fact, I think one of the criticisms that we skipped over in the Brugli video is he was like, I really don't like the idea that this is just the government trying to find extra space for things. And it's like, dude, do you believe anything that the government says about anything that it's doing?
Well, even then, but that's just like a basic sci-fi horror setup. Like everything starts with like the best intentions, I guess you could say,
Right?
And then it goes wrong, and then they realize something goes wrong, but they don't stop it because they're like, well, there's interesting things in here,
Right?
And they stop giving a shit whether or not it affects people, or people are no clipping into it, people are going missing, and all that stuff. Like they don't care about that
because they get to learn more from it and study it more, and it becomes this weird, grotesque Mengele experiment.
Yeah, exactly. And having that basic bitch read on it is sounds a lot like Brugli.
And I want to point out that this threshold here that you pass through, these doors that you pass through to get to the back rooms, they're not made of wood. They're very, very sturdy, hermetically sealed doors.
I could just imagine some like fucking Backrooms writer, wiki editor, incel. Just every time async comes up, he's just like furious, just fucking furious.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? Why would you do that?
It's not on the wiki.
Oh my god! Can't you make a 6-hour video?
Welcome to the Project KV-31 Research and Development Team. In this short, informative video, you will be briefed on the required protocol in regard to Project KV-31, as well as receive an overview of future development plans. What is Project KV-31? Project KV-31 pertains to the study and development of the async low-proximity magnetic distortion system. For the sake of convenience, you may hear your peers refer to the project under any of the following titles: the machine, the door, the back rooms, the complex, hallways. Unauthorized usage of these terms outside of the async research facility is strictly prohibited. Reach the threshold without guided supervision.
There's also a little because this is like kind of ties into video game stuff. It reminds me a lot of Half-Life and Portal. But also this right here, this looks like the veil that you have to go through to fight bosses in Dark Souls. If anybody is familiar with Dark Souls. Jeremy says Dark Souls and now Elden Ring. My brother hooked me up. He bought me Elden Ring. I've been playing it. Jeremy says, I really don't want Kane to be abducted by mainstream VFX horror execs. Yeah, well, I mean, that would be good for him. Be good for him. Be bad for the art form.
Never enter the complex alone. All expeditions are to be comprised of no fewer than 3 individuals.
This happens on a leap day. A leap year.
What the fuck? Like, how can that be a 3D render? Is that person a 3D render?
I don't know, man.
It's very convincing.
Yeah, I think we should watch the one with the bad 3D render because it's only like a minute and a half long. Oh, I'll try to find it.
Yeah, if you can find it, yeah.
I mean, do you really think that there's actually options in this situation? I mean, there's too many variables. Honestly, they set the whole circuit. It's doable. So you know how it is. You're going to want to have it come out and I had a movement. So going north.
Guys, do you hear this? Hey guys, do you hear this? Hey!
Oh no.
Oh, it's terrifying.
You done goofed, buddy.
Guys? George?
Imagine if you worked for Async and you're just on the job. You're just there fucking like you're with the crew, you're going in, you're mapping the place out, and then this happens. Fucking bad day at the office, man. Bad day at the office. Gaming Dragon says, will Crackhead Stanley show up in the back rooms? Yeah. And the chip was so hot he had to go rob somebody. So that he's in the back rooms looking for somebody to rob. I hope this guy's okay.
Open! Hey! this room?
Like, I don't think people, like, when they watch this, they appreciate like what he's doing with that sound. I know I'm harping on this, but like,
Yeah.
there's clothing movements,
Yep.
breathing, the voice, the muffledness, like the footsteps, like that. He's doing all of that. He's creating all of that. Like, that's, and to know to do that is impressive.
Please. Oh. What is it? Hello? Hey!
Just kind of transfixed there.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh. Jerry Moby says, sound is incredibly important. I'm a bit OCD with sound editing over all other functions. And then Trami says, the ears are significantly more sensitive than the eyes. Good audio is king in video production. And actually, a good way to understand that tangibly is if you've ever used anything with VR. the difference between having like earbuds or headphones on to having it like coming out of a speaker of your TV is insane. Like if you put earbuds in, your mind starts being tricked into like actually thinking you're in the space. Effect, dude, it's just solid. Because and when we watch those explainers, you can see the things that he's pulling from.
Yes.
Like you can actually see them. Like you can see what he's pulling from to like make the effect.
Before we go into the video that says the Backrooms fear of being forgotten, click the link that I just sent you. It's one of these derivative videos.
Okay.
Of somebody who is doing their own version of Kane Pixels with not much talent. And you're going to see these guys in the hazmat suits walking like there's poo-poo in their pants.
And this thing has 237,000 views. So just having the Backrooms right now in a video title probably will net you some gains. You know what I mean? Probably do something for you.
Vegan gains?
Vegan gains? He's a tosser. He won't debate.
No, so is Durian Rider. I love you, Harley, but you're kind of a tosser.
But you're kind of a selfish person. All right, here we go. Yeah, like this is too clean. And I'm pretty sure I think those voices were from Half-Life.
It looks like Toy Story.
Yeah.
Maybe you can make it back to the gate and you didn't shit yourself. You're carrying around 6 pounds of shit in your pants.
Damn it, not again.
This part's pretty brutal.
Symptoms of exposure to include hallucinations, paranoia, shortness of breath, and corticobasal degeneration. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, isolate yourself from others and do not seek help.
Yeah, there's the augmented reality game. There's something in Morse code. I'm just not that curious.
And at least that person knows enough to give Kane Pixels credit in the description of that video. Say, look, I'm just doing kind of my little short film, and you're
and that's cool, because that probably really rustles the feathers of the of the OG Backrooms people, because they're just like, now you're async, you're doing fucking videos about fucking async, dude.
Yeah, you're right. They probably hate async with a passion.
Trami says, showing too much. You have to edit around bad visuals. Well, that's 1000% true. You got to know what you have and know how to use it. And that's what I think Kane Pixels is really good at doing. Gaming Dragon says, I love that running animation. LOL. All right. So this is the last one I think we have. This is the Backrooms fear of being forgotten, which I think gets into the kind of the subtext of the Backrooms.
There is one other one that we don't have to watch because it's kind of lame. A dude spends the night in the Backrooms in VR.
Oh no, I do I have that one queued up?
It's in the chat somewhere, but
Yeah.
it's not that great. The reason that I sent it to you is because he does a Spice King challenge in the Backrooms.
Well, we'll
where-
see. We'll see how we feel at the end of this one.
Okay,
and
all right.
then we can go from there. Because now that you tell, because you told me there's a Spice King reference, we might have to do it just on principle.
In 2019 would later make imaginations all across the internet run wild. It would go on to acquire a catalog of eldritch lore, securing its place as one of the internet's most obsessed over pieces of folklore. It's called the Backrooms, an alternate reality composed of an infinite array of hallways just like this one. As a collaborative work of fiction, it reflects a deep-rooted existential anxiety encouraged by the condition of the world today. The original post describes how if you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality, a video game term used to describe when players glitch outside of physical boundaries, you'll end up in the Backrooms. You can do your best to find the exit, but nobody
Eat your fucking heart out, Brugly.
has been confirmed to fully escape back into reality. Everyone's interpretation of the Backrooms appears to be different. There are a lot of lore-expanding posts and several wikis with people devising new levels to the Backrooms, all with their own similarly mind-bending qualities. But the original concept and photo are, I think, the most unsettling. For this video, I'm going to ignore these additional levels and the rumored creatures that inhabit them and focus on the core concept of the Backrooms. Let's talk about the fear of being forgotten. In a short segment of his monumental text, Being in Time, the philosopher Martin Heidegger states that one of the ways we experience the existence of other people in the world is through the things they involve themselves with. Ever see a boat floating at a pier? Maybe you didn't exactly think, I wonder whose boat that is, but you did likely recognize that the boat belongs to somebody. Somebody designed it, somebody manufactured it, and now somebody owns it. In a way, that boat serves as a symbol for the existence of other people. The structure of the world's worldhood is such that others are not proximately present at hand as free-floating subjects along with other things, but show themselves in the world in their special environmental being, and do so in terms of what is ready at hand in that world. Now, imagine if that boat wasn't floating at a pier, but was marooned in a desert in a place where nobody could be found for miles. Encountering it there would certainly raise some questions, because the boat as a phenomenon conflicts with the context of its location. Though it'd be useful to be able to use this boat as an indication that the person responsible for its existence there might be nearby, we can't truly rely on it to do so. That doesn't mean that the parties involved with this boat never existed, rather, the boat's traits generate general ambiguity. That boat in the desert is an example of what's called the uncanny. If the Backrooms feels even vaguely familiar, you've likely been in similar looking spaces before. Any vague sense of familiarity is quickly overwhelmed by everything else, though. A lot of design has to do with intent. When something is designed, we can discern its possible patterns to understand its purpose. We expect something from these spaces. We devise the plans for our behavior in them accordingly. This is what's called a schema in psychology. But patterns are human details, and the Backrooms as an alternate reality wasn't designed. Its random structure and physics-defying spaces are only a further testament to the point. The existence of the Backrooms therefore generates confusion, ambiguity, and unease. It's easier to read malicious intent in something we know very little about. The Backrooms aren't only unsettling because we can't use our preconceived schemata to plan what we should do, but also because human minds and hands had nothing to do with bringing it into existence. The Backrooms merely are. Can an infinite array of office spaces exist without people to fund, design, build, and own them? In the case of the Backrooms, the answer is an impossible yes. The Backrooms isn't a symbol for the existence of other people. The Backrooms has an unreadable intent. The Backrooms has forgotten humanity. There have been moments in my life.
It's a really interesting way to put it, I suppose. Like the juxtaposition, like that's a really good setup for why it has that effect on you while you're watching it.
Yeah, this whole video is full of juice.
Yeah. We got a couple comments here. Gaming Dragon says, I don't understand how it reflects modern society, though. Tromby says, I doubt that's conditioned by our current world. And then he says, because it's dope, I mean deep. And then Jeremy says, I knew kids like King Pixels in college. They'd get shut down for their ideas, fears, and curiousness, only to see niche creative successes outside of the system. Tarami says, this is a lot of words for the phrase fear of the unknown. That's very fair, because that is what it is. It is fear of the unknown, things outside of your ability to understand them.
Where I've taken a quick nap on the
until you get there, and then they fucking ruined it by creating tribes and societies and diners and shopkeepers. Then it is a known quantity, and then it does become part of the human experience. They ruined it, Tarami. They fucking ruined it.
The couch and lazily woken up to the sound of other people talking in the next room, as if I wasn't listening. I'd lay still, trying to fall back asleep, and they'd continue to talk. But it struck me on one occasion that if everybody I cared about completely forgot about me, this is exactly how their lives would look. Their lives would be fundamentally the same, but there would undoubtedly be something missing from mine. There lies the potential for a profound cruelty in forgetting someone for that reason. Satsumu Nihei's manga Blame is set in an impossible, algorithmically decided city from the far future. At one time, humanity was in control of the giant automated robots used for building the city through an advanced form of internet only accessible to those with the necessary genetic trait. After a virus neutralized that gene, humanity lost control of their automated systems, and their security defenses eliminated everyone they found. Without access to human instructions, the city's builders continued to build indefinitely, far beyond the limits of comprehension. It's a city where humanity has been forgotten in just about every way other than the attempts at its total extinction, and yet it's forced to survive all the same. The events of the manga depict the millennia-long wanderings of Keeley, a mostly silent cyborg with a very powerful gun, and his search for the net terminal gene. Before his work as an artist, Nihei studied architecture. It's fitting then that much of the manga's story takes a back seat as Nihei allows the art of this haunting cry of a city to shine through. Page upon page depicts the illustration of useless, nonsensical spaces barely holding themselves together. To call the megastructure huge would be an understatement. There have been a lot of guesses as to its size. The most commonly pitched theory is that it's the size of a Dyson sphere, a theoretical construct that would encircle a star and extend out to about the orbit of Jupiter. Any guesses are truly meaningless, though. For all practical purposes, no matter how far you wander, you'll never escape it. This feeling of the world forgetting the people in it, while hyperbolized in both the Backrooms and Blame, is a relatable part of the modern condition. In order to explore it further, we need to talk about the idea of a lost future. One of the most intriguing bits of Backrooms lore is that in the Backrooms, time simply ceases to exist. All that's available is the present, which is also simultaneously the past and the future. The term that is used to describe the philosophy of this kind of temporal disjunction is hauntology. First introduced by Jacques Derrida in his book Spectres of Marx, the word is actually a rather clever pun. It combines the French word to haunt with ontologie, the philosophical field of study concerned with being. When spliced together, the resulting word is ontologie, which with its silent H sounds quite similar to ontology. It's clever because hauntology focuses on the influence of things that don't exist on the things that do, especially with relations to ghosts of the past and lost futures. Perhaps you caught on earlier to the horrifying implications about time in the Backrooms. It isn't time that doesn't exist there, it's memory. Anything that occurs simply isn't remembered, as if the present was all that existed. On top of its already maddening hallways, this additional layer of mental haze further structures the Backrooms as an embodied twilight of dementia. Hauntology tells us that the 21st century suffers from a similar memory problem. Today's cultural forms are dominated by a resurgence of the old forms of the past, to the point where we readily accept them as a part of our time. The perpetual re-release of Skyrim as new is just one example. The architecture of the Backrooms itself is another. This procedural generation of the past into the present presents us with a unique dilemma, what philosopher Mark Fisher called the slow cancellation of the future. There is, as a result, a wispy sense of melancholia to our time, a tired longing for something we can't identify. The idea of a brighter future failed to materialize, and now haunts our dreams as a half-embodied entity, like a mirage born of desert air. The same things are continuously repackaged and presented as new. Sometimes it feels like the future we were supposed to be a part of simply forgot us here. The Backrooms are an artistic representation of today's cultural stagnation. The déjà vu of hallways is just another way of expressing the déjà vu of culture. In his video on liminal spaces, Solar Sands discusses at length how nostalgia is a fundamental part of photographs like this one of the Backrooms, but that isn't exactly true. Some of the spaces depicted in such photographs no longer exist, and do embrace us in yearning for a time where they did. But there are others like the Backrooms that, though dated, also seem timeless, and nonetheless prevail in our washed-out world. Blame's first volume starts off with the introduction, maybe on Earth, maybe in the future. Its proposed future already lost to the eternal present we soak ourselves in. Maybe blame is a new kind of future, or maybe timeless replication is all we'll ever know. But how long can the lifespan of the past be stretched out? As is the case with the neogenesis of hallways and the Backrooms, the more the old forms are resurrected, the more they dissolve into madness and nonsense. Entropy always ends with decay. Fisher tells us that the slow cancellation of the future has been accompanied by a deflation of expectations. The euphoria and rush of previous novelties are degraded to little more than cheap tricks through their repetition. Mundanity is something one comes to expect. The Shining made good use of this notion. Jack's descent into psychosis is furthered by spectral forces of which his alcoholism is one. But the thing Kubrick's film makes sure to accent is the role repetition plays in the process. Much of the film's beginning half is marked by two things: the monotony of Jack's writing and the deserted spaces of the overlooked hotel. It's that chorus of emptied time imbued into the hotel itself that lulls him towards the old forms. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Jack suffers a debilitating defeat at the hands of this mundane routine. Boredom may not be the precise word for his attitude, but his inability to produce the novel that will manifest his desired future may be a result of the space itself. To lick his wounds, he embraces the old forms, draped in gold and contorting endlessly, further giving himself up to the influence the hotel had on him in the first place, whether he knows it or not. Jack is things that aren't there anymore. What he sees prompts a swift destruction of his future.
Goddamn soul. Glass of beer.
As much as one might wish they could grab again at the delicious pleasure of a past age, the price you'll pay for even a taste of that bourbon will take everything, and the present moment will only seem duller as your expectations dim. The gold ballroom is fundamentally rotten, the smell of decay stripped it of its grandeur long ago, and that rot is spreading into Jack's life through the resurrection of his worst habits too far gone. The Backrooms are a mildewy artifact of entropy and decay in the same fashion as the Overlook Hotel. You can stretch these spaces into infinity, but don't be surprised if you find something you don't like, or if it finds you first.
Fuck.
There aren't any such monstrous entities in our world, of course, just that melancholia and depressive nostalgia. Marc Auger's idea of a non-place is a generic space that disregards the identity of the individuals who inhabit it. Spaces like bus stops, hotel hallways, and airports are designed for use by a nameless multitude. Non-places aren't designed to remember you, nor are you really meant to remember them either. An undisputable part of such spaces is precisely how common they are. They're just about inescapable. The paradox of non-places, though, according to Auger, is that anyone can feel at home in them regardless of past experience, because they are equally alienating to everyone. There's a sense of familiarity to them, though, even if they are generally indistinguishable. Once, while taking a flight alone, I ended up stranded at the airport at night due to a delayed departure. The next flight I would be catching wasn't until the morning, so I tried to find a comfortable spot in the empty hallway and fall asleep. Every time I just about doze off, I'd jolt awake, however. I didn't feel enough at ease with the fluorescent lights that never ended up switching off, and there was something uncanny about the spacious but deserted hall. Although I had been in similar airports plenty of times, that familiar environment felt too unfamiliar to fall asleep in. I didn't get any sleep that night. Even though non-places can be seen as a regrettable part of our world, they resemble the vision of the future for past architects. In the worlds of Adrian Forty, author of Concrete and Culture, concrete buildings represent a set of ideas about the state of the world and what the future was imagined to be that we want to preserve. We should remember what people were thinking 50 years ago. If we tear these buildings down, we will lose all of that. But as a relic of a potential future from the past, non-places are what have, in part, led to a cancellation of the future. Airports from the 90s look just about the same as the one I spent the night in, even almost 30 years later. It's the repeated forms of these spaces that find a voice in the deep indifference of the backrooms and our fear of being forgotten that it represents. This infinite maze, this is only the beginning. A few months ago, I was interviewed for a documentary on liminal spaces for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Towards the end of the interview, I was asked the question.
Do you think that this fixation on liminality comes from stress that comes from all of the societal and economic change and political change that's happening around the world?
I didn't have a very good answer at the time, but the question did get me thinking. What I've discussed here is a fragment of my amended answer. The universe is forgetting you. Yellow walls fold in on an infinite corridor. An incessant hum hangs over the moist carpet. Don't bother worrying about falling through reality. In many ways, you already have. If you like this video, you will love my video.
That was pretty good. I didn't really have much to say.
Yeah, that's why I put it at the end there, because it's like a nice bow on everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's wrong in terms of how we are more and more getting away from things that are like human in a weird way. Things that I really like that observation about that they're familiar, but they're also strange, and we feel okay with it because we all feel equal measures of alienation in them.
Right.
You know, it was an interesting observation. All right, so you want to do one more? You want to do the VR one?
Yeah, this is pretty funny. This kid is actually pretty funny, and it's only like 10 minutes long, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm about ready to fall asleep over here, but we can knock it out.
All right, let's do this last one, and then we'll call it a night. Let me see here. Any? Okay, Game and Dragon says, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I would recommend that Solar Sands video. I will check that out. I'll check it out offline. Jeremy says, it's the Langoliers.
Yeah, actually.
Because of the airport stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tarami says, holy Batman, leading question, Your Honor, when he was asked about politics and society. Okay. So the title of this video is I slept in the back rooms in VR, and this is what happened.
I am spending the night in the back room / liminal space in virtual reality, and it is massive. The time starts now. It is 9:24 p.m. My first step is I'm going to throw a ball, and my goal is to find this ball again by the middle of the night. If I don't, I will take a bite of very hot sauce. Scorpion pepper sauce. Boobalooby.
Scorpion, that sounds like a challenge. There
we go. I will find you. But now my adventure begins in liminal frickin' space. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to explore for a while and find a place to set up camp for the night. That's step one. So we're going to figure that out real quick, okay? Let's walk through liminal space together. So what is liminal space? It's defined as a location which is in transition between two other locations or states of being. Typically, these are abandoned, empty, like a mall at 4 a.m. or a school hallway during summer. It's unsettling and yet familiar to our minds, which is what makes it kind of creepy.
God, you feel watched in a place like this. Okay. Oh, I don't like this hallway. Weird. Trippy, guys. Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah, this is what everybody's so mad about. They're like, King Pixels didn't fucking say that we did this already. This motherfucker. This fucking piece of shit.
This is the hopes and dreams of most of my countrymen here in America. The best we could hope for is to be thrown in a room like this with a straitjacket and paddled repeatedly by a burlesque woman.
I'm still looking for a campsite, but with the size of the map, it basically just became me being stunned by every new room I went into.
Wow. Wow.
I know this sounds so goofy, but this is kind of trippy, guys. I'm swimming. There's something really weird about the replication of geometry like this. It just feels so artificial, so empty. Dude, it's like a Doritos bag. Half of it's air. The other half is sweet, cheesy, questionable cancer. Or whatever they make Doritos out of. Hey, it's not.
Right.
Let's check this out. Knowing the back rooms, this is good. Dude, I'm so freaking scared they've added some weird entity triggers or like scares. I don't think they have, but God, I'm nervous. Oh yeah. Yeah, now we're cooking. This is what it would be like if I was the manager of a company. Like, no one would be at their desk, and I'm just like, keep at it, boys and girls. What a horror.
Some areas of the map were pretty normal, just empty offices or atriums. Then other areas of the map were claustrophobic and kind of creepy.
Well, I don't like it. Okay. Okay, I'm like going in circles. Dude, I don't even think I can find my way back. Dude, the ambience is creepy as hell. Okay, I've been here. Ah! Oh my God, I swear to God, I didn't mean to open that door. I was like squeezing my fist, which is the use option. It scared the shit out of me.
What's funny about it is that like he kind of knows that there's no entities down there, but the fear that there might be is terrifying to him.
Yeah, because it's in your subconscious that it's there. Like you're expecting it, you know.
Right, and he spooks himself by accidentally opening up a door. You know, it's just seems fun.
But eventually, I found my home for the night.
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe this could be home for the night. I'm gonna need a mattress. I'm not sleeping over there in that corner. I'm not feeling it. Well, okay, to be fair, none of these corners are a winner.
And like a true interior designer, I proceeded without knowing exactly what I was doing.
God damn it, I don't know how to do this. Okay, you know what? F the fridge. Ow, fridge. Well, that's couch over creepy vent. Welcome to Casa de la Dread. This is where I'm going to be spending the night. It sort of looks like some Craigslist sex dungeon, you know? But that was step one.
That's where you go on Airbnb and they're like, yeah, $40 a night. $40 a night. Come on, you'll be fine. Sleep on my couch. Sleep on my couch.
A place to set up camp. As Steve Wallace, Steve is Camping, would say, it's time for a step two. Which is a little beer for the trip.
He's got a Mick Ultra. Come on now.
The f was that? Hang on. Thought I heard something. It's probably my neighbors. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna chill for a bit, and then I think I'll explore a little bit further. I know that there's apparently secrets in the map. I'm not really aware of them. I don't know what they are, but I've heard if you click on things or something, like you get teleported. Great. So I'm gonna find a place to chill and maybe hang out for a little bit until it gets a little bit later. It is 9:46 p.m. now.
As long as he's got his blicky, he'll be fine. Okay.
What do you got now, Backrooms? Still don't like it. This, but at least I have a gun.
So I found an empty bookstore and kind of hung out there for a while. Then I went back to the office, had a great experience chilling there, and ended back up at the infinity pool, all the while contemplating the back rooms and liminal space. And I was pondering why this aesthetic speaks to us. You know, I feel like if I showed my grandpa one of these pictures of liminal space, he might not even really get it, right? It feels like a world that isn't for us anymore. The malls have closed. The offices are emptying.
You just imagine him talking to his grandpa about this and his grandpa just pulling a gun out of him.
The blicky.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Facade and the mirage of a booming consumerist culture like at a mall or any of these big environments. is it's still there. You can still go to malls, you can still go to these offices, but it's hollow and it's empty and it's air. And it's just a glimpse into, I think, the mentality and the mindset of people in the first world, I think, at the moment, that this kind of art style resonates with them. So I drank beer in it for a night. After chilling for about an hour.
Well, it's like part of what we talk about a lot. It's like this opulence bubble we're in. We have it so good that we imagine hellscapes of our own creation, of our own forgotten world.
Yeah.
Like we've come so far. The remnants of our progress are the things that we are like we get to look back in horror on and try to go back and exist in.
Yeah,
Buddy Ross.
As an animal, you're designed to start your day getting chased by a fucking saber-toothed tiger or whatever. And so when we live in this fat, happy, modern world, we go seeking things to scare the shit out of us, like roller coasters, which I've always hated. And then, horror is an extension of that.
Yeah, exactly. Trauma says, well, at this point, you've conditioned yourself into feeling these things. Well, yeah, because he's been sitting in this VR for a minute.
Hopped into Discord to keep me from going any more insane.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, that lobster.
That's
man.
cheating. You're cheating.
Lobster?
Yeah, you heard about the lobsters?
Not really. What's going on with the lobsters?
Lobsters are technically immortal.
Okay, well, I had no idea that something like this was going down of that magnitude.
But as the clock struck midnight, I bade Ross farewell, for I had to find the ball that I had placed earlier in the map, or else I would have to drink hot sauce.
Okay, so the big boopy was here, right?
My theory is I accidentally hit undo when I was building the camp for the night, which deleted the ball.
Oh, I'm sure.
So therefore, I did not find it. So I will honor my word, and I will take a big shot of hot sauce. And by the way, this is not good. This is scorpion pepper hot sauce. And by the way, if you have not had this, this is really hot. I would argue this is about as hot as the bomb. And
this man's a coward.
The other thing is, I know that there's a lot of friction in the media right now, and the world's a little divided. And I think for the betterment of humanity and for the betterment of the world, I need to take this hot sauce, but it has to be in this mug. It's got to be the mug.
Tarami says, well, and just in general, people hear about how these spaces are spooky, and that makes them spooky. As you touched on, people want to be spooked. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, it's part of the experience of engaging in this kind of stuff. Like, you're looking to feel eerie. You're looking to be spooked. And that knowing that it's supposed to engender those feelings is going to make you feel them on a subconscious level. That's how haunted houses work. That's like, even if you go into like a haunt that's like your neighbor made, sometimes those things can still be creepy because just the concept of a haunted house is creepy and you project everything onto that stuff.
That brings us all together. And I know how you people are. Oh, you didn't really drink it. Okay, watch. Fuck, you can't even see it. Fine, I'll drink it straight from. Couldn't find the booby.
I know the feeling, buddy. I know the feeling.
Where my hands at? Where my blicky? Give us a pop. Pop it off. Pop it off. Feel good. Pop it off.
It's the third hottest pepper in the world. Wow. Yeah, that's fucking hot. Yeah. Yep. You pussies. Oh, it's not that hot. You chug a little bit of that. You record yourself. It's hot as can't even see.
In an absolute daze, I somehow fumbled my way back to my camp.
Yes. Yes.
He's so
Okay, I just went from about a.
Well, this can't be a very good like backrooms liminal space if you can find things that easy.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Hagbert says, "I wish this guy had a bleeding ulcer."
He will.
He will. He might.
11 to about an 8. Again, we can peek out this wardrobe and we can see the back rooms there, sort of atrium-esque or whatever. I don't know what the level is exactly, but that's our home. I might drink a little bleach, get that hot.
He's like waving the
my
gun in
ass,
his face.
but yeah, that's it.
The most fucking baller American thing you can do. Just like, oh shit, gotta cool myself off with my gun, my blicky.
I think it's time to hit the hay and go to bed for the night.
And once again, to prove to you people that I did it, here's the actual video. You can see the timescale at the bottom right. I spent 6 hours in there. I slept in the back rooms, okay? The finest moment of my life. Did I learn anything from spending some time in the back rooms, liminal space, boring hallways, besides how hot the Trinidad scorpion sauce is? Not really. Repetitive architecture of familiar environments can be slightly unnerving and even a little bit trippy. It's one of my favorite aesthetics, which is why I'm making my own backrooms environment in VR right now. I'll leave the hollow corridors and windswept plazas, knowing that if I ever trip and no clip out of reality, then damn it, I'll just try and remember to bring my hot sauce to scare away the demons.
Oh,
Comment below a world you...
Then he pops open a Pepsi? What the fuck's wrong with this guy?
Spice popper.
This guy's he's not a Spice King at all. Well, that was a lot of fun, Dan. Thank you for being my Sherpa. Thank you for guiding me through this experience.
I was so pumped today when I saw the promo pop up. I was like, "Oh shit, yeah! Tonight he's doing the back rooms finally."
Yeah.
I felt like a little kid, like constantly sending you these things. Like, come on, Sean, why don't you do a back rooms episode? And you're like, yeah, whatever, kid.
No, I've been meaning to do one. It's just like I'm happy we finally got around to doing it. But yeah, that was a fun. I think that Kane Pixels kid is incredibly talented.
Yeah.
I know that he made it in Adobe Blender, and maybe some people would say that's like not impressive, but I think like the whole package is what makes it impressive. It's it's everything that goes into that production, and the fact that a person his age, if we're correct, let's say he's between 16 and 20 years old, like that's impressive to have that awareness and understanding of how to build an environment and how to make people feel like they're in that environment. Also, it probably helped as well that we have earbuds in, we have headphones in, so that really drew us in, because even in this environment, watching it on a live stream with my friend, talking about it, it was still effective. Like it was still very effective.
Yeah, and even having seen them multiple times myself, I still got creeped out during this viewing.
Yeah,
with the chat holding my hand and everything.
Jeremy says, moral of the story, moisten your socks. Hagbert says, wear cleats. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back Monday on D Live. We're going to be doing another kind of fun experiment. We're going to be doing a TikTok endurance challenge. I'm going to go through random TikToks and see how long I can last, because I fucking despise TikTok. Nice. So that's what we're doing Monday night. We're just going to see how much TikTok I can take. So that should be fun. But anyways, thanks for joining me, Dan. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you. We'll see you guys later.